Cheers to episode 139.
We're still here, boys. 139.
Grant's drinking?
Who would have
It's
thought?
number 39. Nobody's
Who would have
39.
thought?
What are we on? 239? Wow, we skipped 100.
139.
This is bourbon and zero sugar ginger ale.
What type of bourbon?
Almost.
Brand?
Almost tough.
Glad you asked. This is part of my weekly recap, but we drove through Kentucky and got a sexy little bottle called My Old Kentucky Home.
Carrying alcohol over state lines? Illegal.
What?
Not illegal.
And not to sell it short, but there she is.
You know what would have went
Spilled
better?
all my water all over me. This
A
is
squirt.
embarrassing.
And I have a chocolate chip pumpkin muffin that I'll be eating throughout the show.
Ew. I'm not a pumpkin flavor
Was
guy.
that YouTube video about muffins?
I know every word of that YouTube video.
Oh, shoot.
That is pure
for
comedy.
breakfast, Johnny?
That is pure comedy.
Muffins!
That's YouTube right there. Early internet.
It still holds up, let me tell you.
Still holds. Especially when people haven't seen it yet.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you and Cormac always talk about that, Alex.
Yeah, because last year, like the Friday nights before, when everyone would be going to bed, I would blare the Muffins YouTube video on the TV. And I would do it in the morning, too.
You guys say water?
I don't even have anything.
I also
Yeah,
say water.
and I spilled
I don't
it
drink
all over
liquid.
myself. I had it too full, and it's all over my lap. I have a puddle of water sitting in my lap right now.
Well, looks like your
Do you want to go
jacket's
fix
rainproof.
it, Evan?
Nope, that's good. I'll
You
figure
could
it
just
out.
pee your pants now, and it'd be the same.
It'd be all right.
It'll be a little warmer.
No, pee's cold.
Tonight is Wednesday,
November
November
1st.
1st, 2023.
Dude, are you eating and talking? Like you couldn't wait?
I have a pumpkin
warned us.
muffin
He
right
said he
here.
was eating during the podcast.
And sniffling. You're a nightmare today.
Fair. 8:13 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:13 Central Time. Welcome into the number one all-around sports podcast in the state of Michigan. And the Pistons are currently leading in a must-win game
Yep.
that I can't watch because Bally Sports Detroit is the biggest Ponzi scheme going in America. And it's my mission to tweet them every night until something gets fixed.
You should be a
don't care.
little more aggressive and meaner.
I don't want to start with the swear word in the first minute of the show. On that point, I think, unofficial count, I think last show, throughout the all sign scandal stuff, I think it's the most F-bombs collectively dropped on the show. I was just Arthur fisting. They came in the last 45 minutes of the show. Every minute at least was an F-bomb. And I was like, I just simply
Yeah.
can't leave this many in the show. This is insane.
I have a swearing problem. That I'm
Family
noticing.
friendly. Family friendly.
I need to clean it up. Personally, it's bad.
Hey, do better.
I mean, sometimes
I dropped a
actually
shit
come
list
across-
today at work on
What does
accident.
that mean?
I was like, yeah,
You said it.
blah blah blah's on my shit list. I'm like, oh, and I was like, oh, and then you keep saying it because you're just so used to it.
Yeah, if you start, Alex, I've noticed you get on a roll. Like you just.
I know. I just
fun.
if I can keep it away, I'm okay. But if it comes out one time, it starts flying. I can't stop.
Sometimes if it's the bleeps, like the little sound effects, sometimes obnoxious. Sometimes I just said sometimes 1,000. Oh my God, slow down, Grant.
You almost said times.
What I'll
Again.
do though is I'll just cut it out, and so there's not even a bleep. It just try to make it flow as if you didn't even say the F word. Because sometimes when you're saying, like you're saying, all that sucked, you can cut out, and then you just have that sucked,
Yeah, you can.
and it
Yeah,
still
you
makes
can.
sense. So, but
I'm
sometimes
going to try not to swear this whole episode. But if
a
Grant
funny
makes me angry,
phrase.
I'm
Probably
probably
will.
start.
I'm excited for the show. I feel like there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of juicy.
If you're
cake out
planning
there.
to get me riled up, I'm not going to enjoy the show.
The beautiful thing is you don't have.
I got riled up
to get
last
you-
week.
You don't have to plan to get you riled up. You just come riled
I
up.
got riled up last week.
Well, Evan, I just said the things that you didn't want to say out loud.
Like
don't
what?
really
You didn't say
care
anything
about
that
it.
crazy.
No, I just talk shoot about the Walmart Wolverines.
Which everyone in America is. I think you can't go farther than
Yeah, but I was
people already
first.
said line. I don't know if you were first. Pete Thamel had you beat.
You didn't say that things I said off the record.
Are you a wannabe Paul Feinbaum?
No. I am
so
bad. I almost swore again. I can't.
You kind of look like a younger version
myself.
of Paul Feinbaum.
We're not doing this today, Grant. We're not doing this rile up thing.
Am I wrong though, Evan? There's
Yes.
kind of a resemblance there.
I was going to say something mean that resembles Grant's word of saying that he looks like a young Paul Feinbaum.
No swearing, Alex.
No swearing, Alex.
I know.
I didn't
that
say
was
it. I said I was
it's
going
super
to say something
disrespectful.
mean.
It's more disrespectful because you
Evan,
said
you
it
can
like
say
that
it.
because I know what you were going to
Safe
say.
space.
What was I going to say, Alex?
Probably something about. I'm not going to indict myself. I'm not going to do it.
Smart.
But I know what it is. Don't you worry.
Come on.
No.
Preview, weekly recaps, NFL, big picture, trade deadline, Lions versus the Raiders, Monday Night Football, NCAA recap, Minnesota, Michigan State has made the list.
Ugh.
Urban Meyer has made the list.
No.
Michigan scandal updates.
Can you swallow your food, dude?
Why? 'Cause my voice sounds different.
It's bothering me significantly.
It was tucked in my cheek so nice.
Yeah,
It was
it
fine.
bothered me.
Okay.
Pistons and Red Wings hot start. That's always a potential if we have time. I realized we didn't
it's
talk about the Red
unlikely.
Wings last week. We just blew right through them. Evan wore a hat. I said we are going to talk about them. We just simply didn't. We got carried away.
It's okay.
Probably
Got
not
all
a lot of
season
time
for
on
that.
Michigan versus Purdue. Probably not much. And then I have a choose your adventure for you guys, which I think I know the answer to. Either previewing Michigan State, Nebraska, or discussing the MSU Tennessee scrimmage. I think either or is on the plate for this week, and I think scrimmage will be chosen.
Neither are needed to be talked about, but
Okay. Well, it's just there if you'd like. Before we dive into
We have
everything,
a game in 5 days.
at Shot of MS on all our social media accounts. Rate
6.
and review on all platforms. Subscribe on YouTube. Don't forget to submit questions if you ever want via our social media or our phone number. And listener calls as well. So, all that being said, Alex, as always, how was your week? It's been a minute since we've recorded. I don't think the date in the show doc is accurate because that is way too long ago. I think we recorded on Monday of last week. Doesn't really matter.
well, I'll just start with what's the popular cookie place? Crumble.
Cookie.
I had one of those cookies last
What
week.
flavor?
It was like this pumpkin chocolate. It was like frosted. It was like
You were a
pumpkin.
pumpkin fan.
Listen, Evan, I didn't order these cookies.
Sounds like you did.
No, I was at work and we had the cookies available. And so I was like, I got to try one. Not a pumpkin guy, confirmed. Just doesn't. I don't know how to describe pumpkin flavor, but it's not for me. And this is not the first pumpkin thing I've had, but I don't know why people like it.
So
It's very
good.
weird. It's very weird
Pumpkin
tasting.
pie fan?
Yeah, it's okay, but like, not my favorite. So that was the first substantial thing in my week. Pumpkin flavor, no. Other than that, what did I do?
It's pretty substantial.
Went to a new gym, other than the apartment gym.
Name?
It's just an LA Fitness, but let me tell you, this is the
No
worst.
free ads.
This is the worst LA Fitness I've ever been to.
Oh.
I've only been to 2, but this one is much worse.
Can't be worse than the one that
It's
I got
it's
harassed at.
no, it's worse. People don't like talk to you. Like there's no harassing. It's very like grungy. Like it'd be perfect for you, Grant. It's like dark, low ceilings. The weight.
clothing.
Oh my god, the weight rack, like the dumbbell rack. There's a gajillion dumbbells for one, but like no one puts them back where they're supposed to be. So you're just like searching for the number that you're trying to find. It's absolute nightmare.
Do the spots have labels on them?
Yeah, they do, but people
That's
don't do
just
them.
total negligence then.
And there's more dumbbells than spots, so there's a ton of them on the floor and like stacked up on the other dumbbells.
This is
Absolute nightmare. Excuse my French. That deserved an F word. I went to Walmart for the first time ever.
Question about the LA Fitness before Walmart.
Yeah.
Is this carrying on your subscription you already have from Birmingham?
Yeah, I just transferred it over.
Had you not canceled it?
Well, I paused it and then they're like, yeah, you can just switch it over. And I get a discount. I get a discount from work, so it feels like that's what I should do.
All right. So let's see how it goes.
Well, I looked at other gyms and there's not really, I mean, there's other gyms, but they're like for the hardcore bodybuilder types. And, you know, let's just be honest, I don't belong there. Maybe I'll find a Evan Cadmus gym where he can train me, but probably not.
You're one stairway shot away from joining that club.
But this LA Fitness is right next to a Walmart. So it's like, perfect opportunity to grocery shop at Walmart.
Nice.
Went there at 8 p.m. It's open till like midnight. It might not even close. Mm-hmm. There are some characters in Walmart at nighttime.
Mm-hmm. People watching.
Yeah.
There's this dude just rapping through the aisles, like trying to get people's attention while he rapped. So go, okay.
Did he hand out a CD?
Nope. He's just carrying a little like speaker and like walking around, just like getting in people's face, rapping. People were just in the parking lot, like having a powwow.
Nice.
Like just like smoking cigs, drinking, like literally just like tailgating in the Walmart parking lot at like 8:30 p.m.
Tailgating the Rangers game.
It was a Wednesday night. There's nothing going on. The Rangers are not even close to this area. They're like 4 hours away. So, yeah, Walmart at night. Not my favorite, but you can't deny the Walmart selection. They got everything.
Kind of a vibe, though.
Yeah. So I was happy with what I got. There's a car break-in our parking garage. Not mine, but like 4 cars over. So I saw all the glass on the ground when I walked to my car.
Oh, no.
My car horn went out. Maybe they stole my car horn. I don't know how that works. Do you guys know how that works?
I think they'd have to get in your car to take your car horn out.
The actual sound of the horn. Like, how does the sound of a horn work in a vehicle?
I think it's the button is obviously inside the steering wheel.
You just press it.
I think they'd have to take that out and mess with the airbag and then take it. I don't know.
Yeah, but when you think the sound's on the outside because it comes from the outside, not from inside.
The trigger.
The trigger's inside.
The trigger's inside.
The sound is on the outside.
They had to remove the trigger.
Well, either my horn just died, which I don't think that's how that works.
You've been pushing it a lot?
Yes.
No.
Please. Oh.
I mean, since I've had my horn go out like last week, I've needed to honk it. I've needed to honk at people so many times, like city driving. Grant, I don't know how much experience you had doing that, but people just cut you off all the time, and I need to lay on my horn sometimes, and I've gone to hit it and just nothing comes out. It's very deflating. I feel like I'm going to get in an accident because of it.
I will say this, though. I don't know how you feel, but my stance, I hate confrontation. I can say if I was power ranking the 50 states in the United States, Texas might be the top state that I would not honk in because I would just be afraid someone has a rifle in front of me. There's just no chance I'm honking anybody.
Haven't seen a single gun yet. So.
Minnesota, you're probably pretty safe. I don't think many people are packing in Minnesota.
Oh, hey, it's okay. Don't honk at me again.
Sorry, you want a Molson?
But I also drive a truck, so I think, people would get scared if I honked at them. I think that benefits me.
A truck with no horn, though.
Oh, yeah. I have a truck with no horn, and I need to figure it out because I think I need my horn back.
Your truck's horny, and you need to get it.
It's horny-less. My truck is going no
I think
November.
it's a good opportunity to put a new horn in of whatever sound you want.
Well, what do you guys recommend?
I don't know, something stupid.
Well, Evan, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
It plays the song good. Creed by Higher. Can you take me higher? That's what it says right there by Creed.
That would be
or Kid Rock, Bow to
I don't have
Bow,
anything
just him
good.
screaming.
That would be funny. Bah to bah. That would cause some accidents.
And then my final notable thing of the week. I don't think I did anything fun this weekend. I can't remember what I did, so couldn't have been that memorable.
You went to a soccer game?
Yeah.
You were active. Did you get any swipe ups on that? Any ladies? Any interest?
Any? Yeah.
Yeah.
It got several likes, which I didn't know was a thing.
How's the fire app down there?
The Fire app?
Tinder. It's a fire app.
Oh.
I don't have a Tinder, Evan.
Oh, Bumble.
What?
I don't have a Bumble either.
Hinge.
Hinge.
I have a Hinge. Yep.
Oh, Grinder.
Grinder.
No. No Grinder. What was the question before you guys got onto this?
Swipe ups on the soccer game.
There's a likes on Snapchat or something now.
Likes.
Instagram.
Likes.
Put it on
Yes,
Instagram,
you
I
can
think.
like somebody's
You can heart that.
story.
Yeah, I got a couple of those.
I got a like yesterday in my story.
Nice. Was it me?
No,
yeah.
it was of Cody liked my paint and form story.
Oh, nice.
I couldn't do it on Snapchat.
Must be into you.
I wanted to like your picture of your dog.
Oh, great! I forgot to say top of the podcast For You page. Boom! I saw your face all over my For You page.
Really?
Scrolling through
Well, that makes
TikTok
sense.
just over and over again.
They're-
And
Those
then
still haven't hit.
Grant
my
is on
feed.
my For You page.
I hope they never do. I watched one of them. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't ever want to see another one of these again.
I don't want people I know to see them. I'm
Oh,
strictly
sorry.
doing it for business.
Also,
on
Grant,
my For You page.
when
I
you
watched
sent
it also, it gives me-
517 crew those comments of those people commenting, where was that from? Was that from one of your videos?
It's on my recap to get into it. I got ratioed on TikTok 4 days in a row, and I just kept feeding the beast of the Michigan. We're talking multiple ones with over 12,000 views and 250 comments on one of them. Just
Yeah,
people
you were
just
getting
so angry.
Bodied.
But like some people are like, this guy's telling it like it is, and some guys were like, why do you defend them, you cheating scum? Like it was the range of people.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
good.
it's great
That's
for
good stuff.
engagement.
Last notable item, the weather here. I know you guys probably going to talk about your shitty weather. Excuse my French. That's only
It's actually
2.
not that bad. 3, Alex. 3.
All right,
I
3.
usually leave a shit in these days. I don't even
Ah!
put that out.
Watch your mouth, Grant.
Who said that?
But I woke up this morning and it was 42 outside.
Oh.
So it was 60 by noon. But the people here, what do you guys think
Freaked
people
out?
wear at 60 degrees?
Probably
60 in
parkas,
sunshine.
Canada Goose.
Just
parkas, winter hat, scarves.
the full everything. They just bust it out.
They never
Bust
get
out in
to-
winter
so
coats,
enjoy it.
hats, gloves.
Your
Walking
body's
there-
definitely not even adjusted yet, so you were still in your polo and golf pants.
Yep. I didn't change. I didn't wear a coat. And everyone would be like, God, it's under 70 today. It's freezing. I'd be like, what are you talking about?
If it's 40 degrees out, you probably should put on a coat. Not to be your mom, but she's going to listen to this and think you're going to catch a cold.
Anyways, and then so I sit by a large window
nice.
at work,
That's really nice.
and someone came over and was like standing by the window and it's like, just wanted to make sure you're not getting cold by this window. It's freezing outside.
There's no way that happened. There's no way that happened.
Dead serious. I'm like, I'm from Michigan. Like, this is not going to bother me. I can promise. And I don't even feel a difference.
There's
So-
no way somebody came up to you and asked if you were okay in an office that is fully sealed in because you were sitting next to a window.
Yeah, I'm telling you, these people are not built for cold weather.
This just blows my mind.
It blows my mind every time I see it.
I'm telling you, like before Alex told me these stories, I used to think Texas was like a tough country. We would kick our state, we'd kick their ass. There's no doubt. We would.
Well-
I mean, they have more people.
We are certainly like tougher with weather conditions. there's no
Mentally.
doubt. A person told me the other day that they're straight up
sun for 3 months.
afraid of snow. Like it scares them.
Yeah, they couldn't. If they had to come to Michigan and fight us in the winter, we'd all go to the UP and they would die. They wouldn't be able to get across the bridge.
You don't you don't invade Russia.
They
in the
also
winter. You don't
have
invade Michigan in the winter.
no. A lot of them have like no idea what goes on in Michigan. They think it's like there's nothing there.
Canada.
Someone asked me, they're like, I don't remember what fast food chain it was, but they're like, do you have those there? And it was like a comment. It was like Burger King. I was like, yes. They're like, oh. Just didn't know where you would put those or like what happens.
Like we're a
there.
European country.
Like, we got the normal stuff, but they don't have Qdoba in Texas, and that blows people's minds. And I was like, "You guys have a Qdoba?" They're like, "What is that?"
That kind of makes sense because they have their own.
They probably have Moe's.
They don't. They have their own Chipotle thing. They have Chipotle.
What's it called, Alex?
I can't remember.
I'm intrigued.
Like
Dos
fi-
Toros?
It's like Fi or something.
Dos Toros.
Firehouse Subs. Sorry,
No, that's what I thought of when they said it, though. Something like that.
Well, I give me a name. Fire.
Evan, if I knew what it was, I would tell you.
Potbelly.
Fireboy and Water Girl. Is the first thing that pops up when you type in fire.
I don't know. It's like
There's no way that's the first thing that pops up when you type in fire.
The first full thing that pops up: Firefox, Firelands, Fireboy and Water Girl, Forest,
Freebirds.
Fireboy and Water. That isn't even close.
Sorry, Freebirds. That's what it's called. That's their
Song
thing.
by
They also have this
2013
place.
film,
It's Freebirds.
Freebird's World Burrito.
Yes, that's it.
Mm.
They also have these things called Schlotzskis. You guys ever heard of that?
Schlotzsky.
No.
I've heard of it. I couldn't tell you what it is, but I've heard of that.
It's like Cinnabon store.
I'm intrigued.
Oh.
And they also have this place, Evan, that I
Must
think
love that.
old Grant would be intrigued by. It's called.
Actually, have you got Freebird's Wet Burrito yet?
No, I haven't gotten Freebirds, but people like it. Voodoo Donuts is very popular here.
I've seen that on Man vs. Food.
Voodoo Donuts. They have drive-through donut places called Voodoo Donuts.
Is that what I would like?
Yeah, you're a donut guy.
Yeah.
It's similar to like Duck Donuts.
Duck Donuts is actually trash. though.
Hours in making, devour in
it is.
minutes. Sold me.
What are we looking at, Evan?
I'm looking at what's his name? Freebirds.
You're building your Freebird burrito and gonna have it shipped.
Remember when Evan ordered food to Alabama?
Oh my god. Oh, so
good
disappointing.
stuff. Oh, I'm getting
Not
some
funny,
texts.
A refund on that. Somebody just got
I need
a
an
food
urban
mail from
update.
that.
Tell him to listen. We'll wait. Evan, your week?
My week. Let's see. Last time we talked. Tuesday.
Football
last
ended.
middle school football game of the year. 7th grade comes out in a thrilling victory, 16-14. And I mean thrilling victory. Score with like 2 minutes left. They're driving down, get a fourth down stop as they're driving across the 50. Exciting 7th grade football game.
Love that.
8th grade, not so much. Complete opposite direction. That's how the season ends.
God, every week, dude. Can we get on the same page in the middle
Alex
school
doesn't want to
football?
worry about anymore.
Well, I have to worry about it next
You
year,
have to worry
so
about
I'll
next
be
year.
ready for that. We better have a great offseason, Evan. You better get recruiting.
Okay. I'm going to put that in my notes. Start recruiting for middle school football next year. Got it.
Yes. I think that's the right thing to do.
And then, other than that, that was the highlight. And then Thursday, started a little mini vacation. Went on a hunting trip. First hunting trip of the year. Hunting trip down to Indiana. And ever heard of Mongo, Indiana?
Yeah.
Nope, it's about
No.
I looked at your location on a map. You were not very far out
I was
of
an
Michigan.
hour and a half.
You're
I was
like
an hour and a
barely
half
in
from
Indiana.
T-Town. Basically, go to Coldwater, go south,
basically in
and then
Toledo.
as soon as you get in Indiana, go west for a little bit. Not very far. State public.
Saw a lot to come see people in South Bend, Evan. You could have went there.
State public land. There's a huge area, Pigeon River. That's the area that we were.
I see that.
I think I've heard
the
of
area
that.
that we hunted. A bunch of spots. It's a different type of hunting. I would say that was like my first time of hunting public land. And I went with two very serious hunters, and I warned them beforehand. I was like, "Hey, man, just a casual hunter. Just enjoy being outdoors." No, they're like serious, like go time getters. So that was a good learning experience. Learned a lot.
What's the biggest difference between public versus private?
Well, private is
It's
just okay.
pretty
Grant,
large
here's the
difference.
biggest
You
difference.
can do whatever you want on
public
private
land.
Yeah, but just like your behavior.
public land.
Yeah.
We go out. I sit with a buddy that we went with, so I sit with him. We go out Saturday morning. It drops like 25 degrees overnight. Okay? Deer like the cold weather. Temperature change, deer should be moving. We go out, sit, boom, dark. Still have an hour to sit in the dark. Not even 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes after we're sitting down. Just got up into our tree stand. Person passes us. Public land. One person passes us.
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes later, second person.
Just have people.
Second person comes out,
wandering. Grant.
Sits down. Grant, this is bow hunting. So if you're a bow hunter, Grant, should you sit up in a tree or on the ground? Okay, perfect. Guy sits on the ground.
1 for 1.
There's 2 people. About 30 minutes after that, a third person comes out and sits. So now there's 4 people hunting in like a 100-yard box. It's public land, so you're basically you're basically trying to get away from people while trying to hunt deer. You're trying to find a good spot where nobody is, but the deer traffic is where private land. It's you and whoever owns it. And most of the time in Michigan, it's you own that property, so it's just you. You're just hunting the wind. But it was good. It was a fun time. I enjoyed it. I enjoy hunting.
Didn't kill anything.
Combo or
Kill
crossbow?
anything. I did not pay, so technically I was never going to shoot anything because I wasn't going to pay for the.
So you're illegally hunting.
No, I never held a weapon.
Shoot, Alex.
Only when I had to.
Oh, you were just there for the ride.
I was there for the ride. I never pulled back a bow. I never aimed at an animal. The only time I held a bow was when somebody told me, "Hey, hold on to this for a second." That's what I did.
He fired it.
Got rid of it as fast as possible.
I need to get into compound bow hunting. And
You've told me that, Grant, for 4 years.
Be a hunter.
For about 1 year.
He said it for 4 years, but then he's just never going to do anything.
Funny thing is, I learned that people just get absolutely dogged on if you have a crossbow.
Crossbow. Yep. Yeah. They do.
But it's also like one of the most expensive things. Like if you buy a crossbow, like the chances that your crossbow actually isn't that good and it snaps in the first time you shoot it is pretty high.
But crossbow's not, I understand it's different because there's not like a compound bow version of a gun per se, but a crossbow and a gun, this easiness of it's not that different, is it?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing, just your firepower is much less.
But it's because there's a compound version. I think people shit on a crossbow. When if you just compare it to a gun, it's not that different.
Oh, fuck. That's still good, Alex. That's still good.
Are you understanding properly, Grant, what we're talking about?
Yeah.
A regular bow versus a compound bow?
Yep.
The traditional bow
between and a crossbow?
Compound versus, yes, all 3, yes.
Not a casual.
What is what?
Oh, don't put him on the spot.
He played Call of Duty. He knows.
No, I know what a crossbow is.
What is
horizontal. It's horizontal.
That's what we're talking about.
I know. I'm saying that is more comparable to a gun.
Yeah, that's why people crap on it.
I know. I'm kind of defending them, saying that I understand why it gets crapped on, but
because the other one was tough.
It gets crapped on because a compound and more traditional bow is harder. But the gun doesn't have that harder version, really.
Fair.
Yeah.
Unless you had like an older gun that's not as good to shoot, then I guess that's like shooting an older bow. Whatever. I'm just going to get into compound bow shooting. I used to do it as a child at the houses, and I loved it.
So you did it one time?
Back porch. At least 5, and I really enjoyed it. Yes. I need to get back into it.
Yeah.
Grant, I have one in my parents' house. You can go borrow it.
As much as I do appreciate that, I think I need to make a purchase that kind of hurts my wallet.
Yeah, just jump right in. Don't even start small. Just full on. I'm jumping into the deep end. I don't know how to swim yet, but I'm doing it.
Yeah. Well, a little research, get some consulting.
I guarantee that you will. I don't know the term, but when you pull it back and you let go and it slaps your arm. First time I ever did it, I did it 4 times, and it's very painful.
I came home from the houses, I think the first time, it just marks all up my left forearm. It hurts so bad. And I had a baby bow back then. I can't imagine if you had actual pounds behind that. It hurt so bad.
You can start with a light one because you're not going to be shooting at anything.
Look, I'm not about showing off, especially to start. I just want to pull back the lightest amount of weight that will kill something at a decent size.
Well, then it's going to be a decent amount of weight.
Next thing you know, you're going to see me at Retro Fitness doing like pullbacks just for bow hunting.
You need a Bowflex.
And then,
Remember those machines?
kind of. I know the name.
They were like all the rage back in like the early 2000s.
Are they for bow hunting specifically?
No, it's just like a workout machine, but it's called Bowflex, and it's just like this thing that flexes down. Perfect for bow hunting.
I got to shine in the role of camp chef. Alex, you're probably proud of me.
Nice.
Just about time.
It's my
Stepped up to the plate. After all the dining we've done without contributing. Makes a lot of sense.
I was camp chef all weekend. It was fantastic. I enjoy that role. Other than that, and then my car's going back to the shop. So shout out Subaru of Ann Arbor for selling me a piece of junk. You pieces of crap. No free ads.
I heard the phrase Yelp bomb. Everyone go Yelp bomb.
Yes,
them.
go do it.
Star review.
Go leave them a review on
and show
Google.
us.
Great, you might need to tweet it
Oh,
out.
also, if you send them an
Sam.
email like, "Hey, I'm just looking for some couple questions," don't bother ever expecting a reply because they don't reply to you. They don't care. They don't care about your customer service. But one of their mottos is caring, and each word means something, and they don't care. They don't care about you. You're scum of the earth. They say,
Sounds like a bunch of Karens.
F 'em.
"Give me your
Not a
money."
bunch of
That's all they
Karen.
care about. Pieces of crap. Because it's in Ann Arbor.
F them. F them hard.
F them hard.
No swearing.
It's hard not to swear, let me tell you.
Yeah. I wanted to start out. I forgot this last week. I
No.
was looking up podcast. Yes, Alex. I think
No.
I think everyone will. It's fascinating. I was looking at podcast stats of our listens over like the last month, last 90 days, and looking at, where do people listen to us on? Surprisingly, Apple is number one, which maybe
Why is that surprising?
Spotify's better.
Because I use Spotify and I think it's better.
I think like people with Spotify use Apple Podcasts, including myself. It's just better. It's better organized. I like to have my podcasts and my music separate.
I don't feel the need
Library.
to do that.
I still haven't really figured out how to use Spotify. I'm still in month 1, so we're working on it.
Understand what's not hard. It's pretty.
By location, I think obviously you can tell Michigan's the number one state people listen to us in. Tennessee's number 2. That has to be longtime listener Brad. So
It's
shout out to
just
him
Brad.
Yes.
It's definitely just
for pumping that. And this one is
Mexico.
crazy to me. In the last 90 days, we have 62 downloads from Saskatchewan, Canada. And I just want to say, who's ever listening to us in Saskatchewan, Canada, shout out you, because I was like, "There's no way that's a consistent listener."
It's got to be one of the Clark brothers.
You think
Didn't
so?
David just move there?
I think
Some of them live up there.
if he's in Canada, that's definitely him.
Well, shout out him.
All right, that
Invite's
if he's
always
listening,
open.
It's him.
If he's in Canada, I don't know if he's in
He
Canada.
is.
Let me do some research.
blew me away.
He
I
just
was like,
texted me
that's so
actually a few
random.
minutes ago about a fantasy football trade.
All right, so
Would you guys
that
do
could be
it?
then.
He's in
Would you do
Alaska.
this trade? That's not him then. But where was he before?
All right.
Do you come see?
Live trade reaction.
Just ask him. Just literally just text him, Alex.
Justin Fields, which I have, who is injured. And my current quarterback is CJ Stroud.
Okay.
For Damian Pierce, which my current running backs are Gibbs and Kamara, and I don't have a backup. Gibbs on bye this week.
Damian Pierce, pretty bad.
Oh,
He is not great, but he starts.
I'll be honest, that trade's doing nothing for me, so I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear it.
It's not a blockbuster. Would you trade Justin Jefferson for Alvin Kamara?
But I take depends on your record. I probably would.
I traded Justin Jefferson for Alvin Kamara last week.
There's no chance I could do that in our league. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, with who has him, yes. Agreed.
Other note, the Gavitt Games is canceled. I read that last week.
What?
I'm going to slip that in here. It's sad. Not this year, next year. It's gone.
Oh,
next year. It sucks.
good. Yeah, it was a terrible thing anyways. Like the Big East cared about it, but like, let's be honest, the Big Ten wasn't getting excited about it.
The Big East was doing well every year in that.
Well, Michigan State's never lost in it.
That's fine for your personal, but I'm saying the two conferences, it was a great way to start the year. So I think you're going to regret it when it's gone.
You're gonna miss me when I'm
We're
gone.
playing in Maui next year. I'm not gonna regret that.
Michigan State, Seton Hall was a
Fantastic
great game.
game.
No longer.
Instant classic.
Michigan State Villanova, not a great game. Michigan State Butler,
Michigan State
not a
Villanova
great
was
game.
actually a very good game.
Potentially.
Well, because we
No,
killed
we did
them.
not.
We were up 17. They came back late, Evan. Yes,
We didn't kill them.
We won easily. We were at deer camp.
Never forget.
This is a thing. Before I get into what I actually did,
Still?
if any of you guys are guilty of this, I apologize. But I don't understand this behavior in public. The people that we all know in our lives that will just blow their nose like an elephant trunk loud in the midst of
I
like
don't do that.
a
I'm
bunch
so
of
conscious
people
about that.
that are your coworkers. I don't understand how people just free willy it, just blow it hard. Like, go in the bathroom, or if you do the bathroom, fine. But like this person did it today in like an eating area. Just grabbed a paper towel, sounded like an elephant went off. And I was like, "What are you doing?"
That's why
It's crazy,
Grant,
I would
one of
never
the top
do it. You're
inventions of all
self-conscious about
time
it.
is nasal spray.
Wild.
You get a good nasal spray in the
Evan's
morning,
favorite.
you're good.
just
You're good
drip.
for a while.
Nasal spray makes my nose worse like 2 days later, though.
No, nasal sprays, you're not doing it right.
Do you nasal spray every day, Evan?
Not every day.
He probably has to because
You're like Jake Marsh. You're
grew
addicted
an
to nasal
immunity.
spray.
Not every day, but there was a time when I had a stuffy nose for a solid 3 weeks, and I was doing it every morning. Jamming it up there and
can't be healthy.
Remember that machine I used to have, Alex?
Oh my god, that thing is disgusting.
Yeah, with the water. That would clog your brain up. That was crazy. That cannot be good for you.
Back to your little blowing your nose thing. I can personally say I have done it, but the only reason I've ever had to do it is because like
You are that guy.
no,
You are that
like
guy.
I don't
You do that a lot.
I don't see. No, I do not do it a lot. I don't have tissues at my desk usually. Anyways, I usually just go to the bathroom. But my nose was like uncontrollably running to the point like where it's like dripping out. So I can just like keep going like this, like over and over again. But I had rubbed my nose like raw, where it like hurts, and I was like, I just have to like blow my nose here, and then I'll go to the bathroom because I'm gonna have to blow my nose like 35 more times, and I can't go to the bathroom every 5 minutes to blow my nose. So I'm just gonna have to start blowing my nose here. So that's my only reasoning for ever doing it. If I just had like a one-off need to blow my nose, I am not doing it in front of a bunch of people, unless it's like my family.
Yeah, no, if you know, that's fine.
So be nice to your coworkers, Grant. You never know
I don't know
what's
who
hurting.
this person was.
Maybe they have a broken nose.
Well, their nose is hurting. Clearly, they had to blow it. My week, during the week, did I do anything? I don't think anything happened crazy. Took Friday off of work. Drove down with Marissa and my parents to Nashville for listener Brad. Shout out to him. He got married. Nice venue. Good time. Evan's brother, Hunter, he was in the wedding. I got there, and so he's, people in the wedding have their wedding duties, and I hadn't really said anything to him because I hadn't run into him through like the cocktail hour. And if people are having conversations, I'm not the type at a wedding. I found out I'm not gonna like go butt in and like interrupt someone's conversation just to say hello to them. So
we know Evan and
oh,
I
yeah.
aren't going to do
No,
that
God,
either.
no.
So you're not the only.
yeah, just not that type of guy. Just gonna let people talk. And Marissa's like, we should probably go say hello to Hunter, which I agreed with because it was getting like the dancing of the night had already started.
The
And I
wedding
like,
was almost over, and you still didn't even say anything to him.
no, there's probably a good like 3 hours left, but the dancing for the night had started. And I was like,
That's when you talk to
Marissa,
everyone.
I was like, let's just let it organically play out because Hunter's going to see us on the dance floor and it'll be hilarious. Sure enough, we're out there. We make eye contact. He's like, this is wide eye. you guys are here? And we're like, hello, hello. And I was like, that's exactly how it was going to play out. I told him, I was like, Hunter, I was going to come interrupt you earlier, but I didn't want to do that. So I was going to wait till we just saw each other on the dance floor. He's like, all right, how's it going? So that was running into Hunter. We had a crazy Uber experience on the way there. This guy, car smelled like weed. He had a big old Tennessee, almost looked like a drugged out Chris Stapleton. I would classify him as that. He just had a
He's
jug
driving
of, like,
the car?
Yeah, the Uber had a gallon of water in his passenger seat that he'd like throw to his side so I could get in even on the driver's or passenger side. And he asked like when we had to be at the venue by. I was like 4:30. It was like 4:05, but there was a good chunk of traffic on the highway. This man started driving on the shoulder, buzzing by cars in standstill traffic like a bunch of semis. And I'm just thinking, if one of these semis gets pissed off and just turns their front end, we are smacked into a guardrail and we don't make the wedding because we're dead. And he's just buzzing. And then an ambulance starts coming up the shoulder. And he's like, oh my God, there's an ambulance. I gotta get back over. So he has to cut off a semi who honks at him loud. And this guy was just a liability the whole way there. He got us there. He gets to the venue. There's like a guy out front trying to like tell people where to park. He just goes, he like rolls down his window. The guy's trying to talk to him. He just yells out at him. He's like, is this the venue? Guy goes, yeah. Like, all right, thanks. Like, doesn't even listen to the guy telling him where to park. And then rolls up to like the venue. It's like a big barn door. It's like a nice barn. And there's a little cobblestone sidewalk for an entrance. He like pulls onto that, like almost into the front door because it's raining. And he's like, all right, this is as close as I can get you guys without getting wet. Like we were like in the entrance of the wedding.
Door opens.
Like, this is
the
so
front door of the entrance. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So we get out. We're there, whatever. The Uber home was less eventful. It was like a younger kid. And he wanted to take a Snapchat video of the wedding venue because he thought it was cool. He's very funny. He's like, are you guys okay if I take a video? I was like, yeah, it's fine. And then he missed an exit. We were 6 minutes away. Nothing more painful. You're 6 minutes away. You're staring at the thing. It's like past midnight. You just want to sleep so bad. And he misses the exit and it jumps to 15 minutes. And you're like, oh no. Oh no. Just devastating. But everything worked out. Then went through Kentucky on the way home where my uncle lives. My mom's brother, got to see his family. They basically live in Cincinnati. It's Kentucky, but it's Cincinnati. So we stopped and got the whiskey, brought him a bottle. I got a bottle, had some pizzas, great pizzas. Then we drove back to Tecumseh on Saturday night. And then Sunday just did a bunch of chores and watched NFL football. Halloween, nothing crazy. Did not pass out candy.
I did not pass out candy yesterday.
Me either.
I was too pissed off yesterday, so...
I was going to watch a movie, and I ended up just doing absolutely nothing.
You did nothing and didn't watch Vampire Slayer?
Like, I did nothing. Like, I actually
tried to
did
push
nothing.
for Vampire Slayer.
I was going to watch...
I
was going to watch The Joker. You know, not a Halloween movie, but like a super...
You've already seen that, though.
Yeah, but it's so effed up, and we were talking about it at work earlier in the day, and I was like, man, I got to rewatch this.
All right, let's do NFL first. It is Wednesday, so it's been a little bit. We can go around the chat here. Did anyone have anything that stood out to them from this weekend in the NFL? I feel like there was a lot of big things that happened.
Ooh, I hand up, guys. I was in the woods all weekend. I'm not very useful.
Right.
Yeah, I wondered.
You can tell Evan what happened.
Evan's asking for updates about stuff. I'm like, is he still in the wilderness?
We sat for a while in the evenings. It's like, get out of like the morning hunt, not successful, eat brunch/lunch, and then turn around, go back out in the woods. But brunch. Yeah, so Sunday, what is there to talk about Sunday?
Were you a Will Levis guy?
No.
No.
Evan hates anybody with a life.
I forgot. For some reason, I
he
thought
was
you
not
liked
successful
Will
in
Levis.
college. He couldn't beat out Sean Clifford.
I think we were all.
He had terrible stats at Kentucky.
I made that point, and then Evan wrote it.
I made that point
for the
first.
rest of the time.
Yes.
No, go back and listen. I
made that point
promise.
first because you took it from me and just used it on the podcast.
What's that commercial that they do those replays now? Progressive?
B-dubs.
No. They like throw a challenge flag.
Yes, progressive.
And they go back and watch the tape.
I think.
Yeah, that's
State Farm.
But that's what we need right now, Evan.
Just because you doesn't.
No, we
If
were
you
all
saw-
Will Levis haters,
Getting
regardless.
into this. I'm just gonna piss you
It was
off.
his
but
coming out party.
I should piss you off
He looked
today.
kind of sick.
Why? I just said regardless. We all didn't like Will Levis anyway,
Correct.
so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I like him.
Well-
If he is good on Thursday, I'm ready to classify him as a good quarterback because it's a classic
but
letdown
he-
spot on a Thursday night. But if he looks good, I don't think he will. But if he
He
does,
is smart
he's
though.
good.
By
I'm ready
like,
to say it.
you know what? I'm gonna throw it to like a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL over the last decade.
Just every time.
It's pretty easy
Yeah.
to do.
Not
that.
a bad
Not
idea.
a bad idea.
Some of his throws were just ducks into the air, and DeAndre Hopkins.
I just don't like how everybody's throwing like the Aaron Rodgers style now. Just like lean back, try to flick the wrist, and just like get your hips into it. It's like no, go
cool,
with
though.
your own.
It's cool.
The fact that we're allowing Grant to say that if Will Levis has a good second game in his NFL career, that he's just good. You know how many quarterbacks you'd say that about that were awful?
No,
Oh.
not many. You can
Sean Hill.
NFL actually died on Sunday.
didn't
There's
watch
no
his
point to
first
watching
two games
NFL
ever.
anymore. Kirk Cousins got injured. A true
I'm
man.
interested to hear this.
That
A
was
true
sad.
man
Oh.
got injured.
Really sad.
That was
I did have that
disappointing.
written down.
Yeah.
And you diagnosed it
It's
first.
too easy. When they came out with the ankle injury, well, you guys texted saying Kirk Cousins is injured. I instantly had to go to Twitter, found
I didn't
the
see
injury.
it, so I don't know. I
saw the
haven't seen
injury
it.
video, and I was like, "That's his Achilles. It's gone." Alex, just a video zoomed in on his leg, and then all you see is like the tendon.
I'm not
the
going to
tendon
watch it.
Snaps like in his calf, and you see it just buckle.
As a doctor, former doctor, I would have been able to confirm that as well.
Straight hospital. Never forget.
I know they're probably not guys that would ever hang out and get beers together, but I think Kirk should go hang out with Aaron Rodgers in rehab because it sounds like Aaron Rodgers is coming back. before
I
the
can tell you
season,
right
which is
now.
insane.
Aaron's going to come back and he is going to get hurt again. There's just he's defying
Alex.
he's defying odds. That's not how it works.
Because he's doing things like in other countries that other
He
people
thinks
won't
he's
even try.
better and more intelligent than everybody else, and it's either going to work, which good for him if it does. That's a great step for modern medicine. If not, he's going to get injured again, and it's going to be because his big head. Which Aaron's grown on me a little bit this year since he left the Packers. I don't dislike him as much, but he's still a weird dude.
Packers stink.
And Kirk should not do that. Get healthy, Kirk, for real.
Kirk's not going to do that
If,
until the season's over.
If Aaron comes back,
Vikings want to tank.
yeah. He
No,
will
they
not-
don't have it.
Kirk will not do
Josh
any
Downs.
risky treatments.
No, his wife wouldn't allow it.
Coles wouldn't allow it.
If Aaron comes back, sponsorship is gone.
Jesus wouldn't
if Aaron
allow it,
comes
really.
back and looks good, I'm never questioning Aaron Rodgers' smarts ever again.
Oh, yeah, I
was worried
agree.
about COVID. The only other Sunday takes I have before the trade deadline stuff is, well, Denver upsetting KC might be the most stunning result we have this year so far.
Stop. Right there. I want all those idiotic Lions fans to remember that phrase that Grant just said. The Kansas City Chiefs, the best team in the NFL potentially, lost to one of the worst teams in the NFL. This is just a reminder that winning in the NFL is hard and you're going to lose football games. So please stop acting like the season's over every time the Lions lose. Thank you. Grant, continue.
That stopped me in my tracks. You don't get told that often.
Stop it, sir.
Stop right there.
Well,
Timeout.
I'm just so sick of it. And everyone's like, no, that good teams never lose.
never.
Well, they do. Nope. That's why every game's a must win.
Hey, I see. And Pistons are also losing now by 2 with 4 minutes to go.
But I just
So,
sent a tweet that was Showtime Pistons. And then
Cancel-
the
cancel.
Bleacher Report said they were back.
no one's talking about the Jaguars, so this is me
Etienne.
talking about the Jaguars.
Sneaky
They
good.
need to be respected more. They lost that one game to the Texans, and everyone wrote them off in our overreaction culture, and they're just a good football team.
Yep. Another example. Winning in the NFL is hard against any team.
And this is my other take, a guy that we need to talk about more. He's getting hyped up a lot, but it really stuck out to me, which is the first time I think we can say this. A.J. Brown is the clear second best receiver in the NFL right now. I mean, if Tyreek Hill didn't exist, it's A.J. Brown. He's playing pretty unreal.
Oh, wait.
I'm not going to say unbelievable.
Are you saying the best
football.
receiver in the NFL is
Yes.
Tyreek?
Yes.
Okay,
Second
good.
is AJ Brown.
Just making
1A,
sure we're all in
1B,
agreement
and then
on that.
everybody else.
Right now, this stretch, yes. AJ Brown is playing.
If you were starting,
like breaking records.
if you were starting a team, what receivers are you taking 1, 2, and 3 in order?
Justin Jefferson,
A 1.
Tyreek Hill. Yeah, because he's younger than Tyreek.
Grant.
Alex, we've had this
And
debate.
he's breaking
Go back in time. We had this debate like 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
We're
We had the same debate. We literally had the same
About
debate
Calvin?
when Antonio Brown was in his prime and when Julio was in his prime. We had this debate: who was the better wide receiver and who would you rather have? This is the same thing. Tyreek Hill and AJ Brown.
What's your answer
Who
right
would you
now?
rather have? I'm always the guy that I like.
I would personally.
Who'd you take? I know who you said you.
We're gonna go
take
opposite.
Jahmyr Chase.
No,
Who'd you want?
I would take
Yeah,
Tyreek.
I might
I
take
want
Jahmyr
the bigger
Chase
wide
there.
receiver. I'll take AJ.
I just go by age.
I want the speed because it's game changing if you're in the right offense.
But he's 29.
Grant, 29 is young.
Not for receivers. No, it's
Does
not.
Tyreek look
not
like
young
he's
for
getting
receivers.
slow?
I don't know.
He's having the best season of his career.
If I had to start right now to win the rest of the year, I'd take Tyreek, no question, because he's healthy and he's the best.
We're
But
talking like
I'm saying
3
for-
years.
if I'm going like a 10-year run,
10
like
years? None of them are going to be
No,
playing
or
in
like
10 years.
you just say Justin.
Well, yeah, they might be playing,
If-
but they're not going to be that good in 10 years.
If you're like Grant, you get to become a GM for a team and you're doing a fantasy draft, it'd be so sick. I'm Justin Jefferson's higher on my draft board than Tyreek Hill because of age.
Be interested how the world
And
feels
Bill.
about it. Listen,
Bill,
they're all
I
great.
don't know.
They're all great prizes. Just feel like the one thing you cannot teach is speed, and Tyreek is just faster than everybody. He literally just runs past
This
everybody.
is you turn this into Tyreek prop. This is more just because I've never viewed AJ Brown in that tier, but he's firmly in that tier now. The way he's been playing,
Yeah, he's
It's
good.
smart by Jalen Hurts.
very
to throw it
good.
to the best
firmly
player
in
the
like
Just throw it up to him. Jalen Hurts has no
one-handed catch
excuses. He
was
has weapons all over the field.
disgusting.
Yeah, that was nice. He's a good football player.
Two last notes. This is about the Bengals. Well, one's about the Niners. The Bengals had the best win of the week. Niners are in a tailspin, 3 losses. in
You know
a row.
why?
That's big for the Lions. Brock Purdy, not the guy.
That's why I've said it all along. Anybody want to agree yet, or you guys still want to push back on that?
Still push back
Too
on that.
soon. He needs Debo Samuel back.
You can't tell me you would take Brock Purdy over Jared Goff anymore.
Jared Goff threw a pick
we're
6
not.
to the Raiders.
Every quarterback makes mistakes, Evan,
Every team has bad weeks, Alex.
including Brock. Yes, Brock Purdy's had 3 in a row,
Jared Goff had one last
And-
week.
and he's short.
This is for the last thing on the Bengals for our betting friends. We've been on that
Did he?
highest best win of the week means fade them the next week. The Ravens only beat the Cardinals by 7, so the Cardinals covered, which is disgusting.
Yeah,
So the Bengals play the Bills on Monday Night Football. Hammer the Buffalo Bills.
Bills.
Hammer the Bills.
Hey, at least we have a good Monday Night Football game.
I don't love the Bills
It's a
right
Sunday
now.
Night Football game this week.
Oh, it's really bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bills Bengals is Sunday night. Chargers Jets is
Yeah,
Monday night.
that's the really bad game.
But Evan, we get Dallas Cowboys Eagles right into Bills Bengals. That's
Evan
pretty good.
hates watching the Dallas
Correct.
Cowboys.
I will.
Yeah, he said. Evan said
It is
NFL
over.
is
Kirk
over.
Cousins is injured, so you don't have to watch it. Just watch your fantasy team.
But the Lions are good.
Lions are on bye, so technically you don't have to do anything. This is the week, guys, to go out and do something with your significant other. Sunday. Anything you want to do,
Apple
girl.
picking,
Anything you want to do.
especially in the morning.
Or guy, Evan.
Sorry.
You never know.
Or guy. Actually, this is how you play it, Evan. You wake up, you watch Dolphins Chiefs in bed.
Oh my
and
God,
then
you have
around
fantastic
noon, you go
news.
get brunch, and then you come back for Cowboys Eagles, and then you're good. You did your due diligence in the middle of the day. You get back around 6 for halftime of that game, then you just sit there for Sunday night.
My
All right, who wants
arse
to go
is
take
going
me on
to
a
be
date
planted
on
in front of
Sunday?
the telly from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m.
Everybody,
Not everyone at once.
Oh my gosh, you're blowing up my phone. Please calm down.
Pistons are down
your
2 in
thoughts
the fourth
on the
quarter.
trade
Trade deadline? What a dud of a season.
And about the Lions.
We don't want to win. Don't care.
So
so stupid.
You didn't listen to what I said earlier. did you?
Yes.
You really feel that way?
I really do feel
You
that way.
The whole season's a dud now? That can't be right.
I've spent too much time this week talking people off the ledge about the trade deadline that I don't know if I have the want to.
You should
continue
always
do
want
it
to
right
win
now
and
for
not
Evan.
be like, oh, well, it's a process. You should want to win. You should
noise
want
aside,
to
Evan.
win.
No one's saying they don't want to win. They've won 6 games out of 8.
Against what quarterbacks?
True.
Evan, they don't get harder. It's not getting any tougher.
The playoffs,
like
it gets
one of the
tougher,
easiest
buddy.
schedules.
Playoffs.
Yeah, buddy. I know. If I get buddied one more time by one of you guys this week,
Dude, my text was so funny.
that actually, like, nothing actually made me mad except the buddy. The buddy was like, "Come on,
That
dude,
was so. I knew what I was doing.
you're
too. It was
such
like
a piece of
9:30 a.m.
garbage for saying that."
Stick to college.
It was 8 a.m. for me. I'm driving to work, and that's the first text of the day I get. Yeah. Anyways.
Evan, if it makes you feel better before you want to say your piece, did you see there's a tweet from Michael Silver today saying that Chase Young, according to several Commanders coaches and other organizational sources, was an undisciplined player who developed bad habits, such as deviating from assignments in an effort to make splash plays. Does that make you feel better
make
that
all
you
those-
didn't get him?
Deviant plays that he wants on this defense.
Let's back up. Let's talk about the real reason Evan's upset. He thinks Aiden Hutchinson is bad, and
No,
he needs
I'm not
someone
saying Aiden
else.
Hutchinson is bad. I'm saying Aiden Hutchinson will
Don't drag
succeed
him
more
into
with
this.
another pass rusher on the other side so he doesn't get double teamed.
What'd you say about Aiden Hutchinson this week, Evan? You said
I
he's
said,
poo-poo.
no, I didn't. I said he had one tackle, and that was shit.
And you used
I used the
Poopy
poop emoji.
emoji.
I didn't even say shit. I just said Aiden Hutchinson, one tackle, and then did the poop emoji.
stinky.
Yeah,
Stinky,
you'd like to see
'cause there
one
was no-
more. You'd like to see more than one tackle.
And it also doesn't help that the first possession or second drive, or where I don't even remember what it was, he got double teamed, got chipped by a tight end, and then he like spun back into the tackle, and the tackle threw him like 5 yards across your screen, like just across your screen.
he just gets
The
needs
defense
help.
line needs help.
Bad. He needs
and then
someone
we have
to draw
still
something.
once again here we go, the worst stat in
Easy.
NFL. The worst stat in
Easy.
NFL.
Pressures.
No one gives a shit about pressures. No one gives a shit.
No, broadcast do. I mean, I hear him every
Broadcast
It is
might
so
do
stupid.
coaches.
So stupid.
Yeah, I
It's
think
like,
coaches
oh, the
do
Lions
care about
had
pressures.
Yeah, like you talked to Dan, and
Lions
he
had
told you.
78% like pressure rate this week. It was the most in the NFL since like 2018.
They did seem like they were getting
It's
after
so
Jimmy G's
stupid.
butt.
Yeah, because you know why? Because the Raiders' offensive line is the worst offensive line in the NFL.
Couldn't get sacks because Jimmy was
that.
throwing him into the ground before
But
we
you,
could get
you
there.
look at the sacks that we got. I think we had like 5 or 6. You look at the players that got the sacks. I think Ali
Anzalone, my
McNeil
dog.
was the only defensive lineman that got a
Oh yeah,
sack.
he balled. But he played
Anzalone
well.
had 2.
Good ball.
Tracy
Yeah,
Walker
2
had 1. So
sacks.
we're not generating a pass rush with the front 4. We had to do blitzes, and you saw what happened against the Ravens. It's either blitz and you
Now
don't
maybe
get home,
Evan,
or
Evan?
they didn't trade for somebody because they are banking on player
all right, Alex. Let
development.
me ask you this then: you're talking about player development. Who is better, Chase Young or James Houston?
Well, right now one of them is injured.
Okay,
So
both
that's
of
a
them
trick
are
question.
completely healthy. They're on the
Well,
field.
more
Last year.
polished.
They're on the field right now.
I don't know.
Last year, James
Pass
Houston-
rushing, probably James
This year-
Houston.
This is a joke. You guys are embarrassing.
He gets to the quarterback.
Alex, you're embarrassing.
I'm not saying he's a run stuffer or 3-down player or anything like that, but I mean, he's good at pass rushing. He had like 50
Last year
sacks
was
in
James
college.
Houston. This year, Chase Young. Pedigree, Chase Young.
Pedigree, sure.
But if James
Pedigree
Houston
doesn't
comes back, I'll
matter.
flip it in a second.
Yeah, I'm not saying Chase Young. I mean, you could have got Sweat, but Sweat's going to get a long time contract under the Bears.
Yeah, you want to pay Sweat $8,000
not-
badillion badillion
Yeah, because
dollars.
we don't need Vitae anymore. There's $10 million off the books. You don't need Decker anymore. Boom, there's another $19 million off the bat.
Okay. Decker doesn't deserve a
Decker, so.
ricochet shot like
Okay,
that.
Alex, what I'm saying is you
You have to pay for offensive
stop.
line.
Cap allowance.
Decker,
Okay, I'm not
I
saying
like
Decker's
Decker.
bad. I'm saying cap allowance.
I do
you,
too.
You sacrifice some positions, and that offense line might be a position where you have to pay right now. You're already going to have to pay Sewell. Sewell slides over to the left side, and then late in the first round, you draft a offensive lineman that you told the entire NFL we're going to build in the trenches. Well, building the trenches and drafting a running back, he won us the game on Monday, isn't drafting a running back and a tight end in the first round. And then you also start giving money elsewhere because you don't have a pass rush with your front four. You need a pass rush in the playoffs.
I don't think we have any issues on the offense.
Correct. I'm not saying that, but
other than JMO,
you asked about paying players like money elsewhere. I just told you I just freed up $29 million in your cap.
Yeah, but you can't just get rid of Taylor Decker and another offensive lineman.
Vitai's contract's up after this year. Vitai's contract is up after this year.
Fine.
Boom, gone. $10 million.
Fine. I like what I saw from Sorsdahl.
Sorsdahl looks like a menace. Glasgow's pretty good too.
Ragnow's good. Glasgow
will be gone because he signed a one-year contract.
Agreement on Big V.
Yeah, that is true.
We'll bring him back. He'll take a hometown discount. He's a Michigan man.
Yeah, it's a bad time to bring that up.
Here.
Don't want to be a Michigan man right now.
Well, if you're Glasgow, sure. And DPJ. That's their splash right there. I actually do like that trade.
I don't mind it. It's a good depth trade.
I like it.
I have a resident Browns fan at work, and he says it's the most infuriating thing to watch him be a punt returner because he's, quote, slow as mud.
He doesn't have to return.
It's just frustrating that
he had one big play for
everyone's going to argue, like, oh, you got to trust Brad Holmes and trust the process. Like, what's wrong with, like, wanting to win now? Like, try to go for it. Like, how valuable is a third round
pick? I just think he probably thinks they still can win.
It's just...
I think a third round pick is incredibly valuable.
Well, we have two of them, so how about that?
But you can use two of those thirds to move up to a second to get a Brian Branch, who's a game changer on our defense.
Well, good thing we have Brian Branch already, and Brian Branch isn't going to reclassify and go into the NFL draft again.
I know, but I'm saying if you find another.
Nice.
Like, Brad's clearly very good at drafting for the most part, like a 90% hit rate at this point. Wouldn't we want to keep picks?
Thank God. What's his name?
First and fourth. We're like the youngest team in the NFL, Evan. We're not going anywhere. We're only going to get better. Like everyone's acting like our window is like closing. Our window's not closing. It's just open.
Okay, then what's wrong with winning multiple?
D1.
Like, why do you want to be satisfied with one?
I don't want to go all in this year for one and then mortgage the rest.
All in. It's a third.
Multiple Super Bowls. Yes. What if you want a playoff game?
But what's wrong with you're not going all in?
I'm not. Evan. All right, fine. Even let's say they do.
You're not going all in.
They trade a third. Listen to me, for God's sakes. They trade a third for Chase Young or whoever you. Who do you want? Who did you want them to get?
3 for Chase is what I wanted. I like that deal for
Evan.
Sure, let's do it hypothetical since we already argued about it. We'll do a third round pick for Chase Young.
A compensatory.
You can have the Vikings.
You get him.
You can have the Vikings third round pick because it's going to be higher than ours.
Whatever it is, you get Chase Young. Our projected win total and playoff win total is anything really. Is Chase Young alone coming in, winning the Lions the NFC?
He helps our odds.
Are we legitimately one defensive end away from winning the NFC?
I think he does help you.
Yes or no?
Game. I think you can get. Sorry,
I understand where he went.
Correct. It helps that he's on your team and not a team that you're going to have to face, probably most likely at San Francisco.
Yes, that made it worse. But let's say he didn't go there.
Well,
let's just say he never went anywhere. I'm just saying, if Brad is asking himself, are we legitimately one piece away from winning the NFC? Don't you think he would do it? He clearly thinks that we're probably more than one piece away. So why do it right now? And that's unfortunate and not great. No one wants to hear that.
You have a chance to make the NFC Championship game. You have a chance to compete over the top.
I think he fully believes that we can make the NFC Championship game without making a trade.
I don't think we can make the NFC Championship game without making a trade.
I do.
We definitely can because. Well, I'm not going to get off track. I want to stay on, but remind me to go to that point. That's a juicy point I've been looking at. Remind me to get back to that. Talk about trade deadline first. The frustrating part is that you watch all the other contenders.
It sucks that everyone else did.
That's
why it hurts.
Everyone.
More.
Eagles, Seahawks,
the Seahawks are going to have to come to Ford Field like we already talked
Niners.
It's already written in stone.
Just those three.
And I know the Bears is irrelevant, but they're in your division.
That move is irrelevant. Too. I don't even care.
Until 2 years from now.
You still got to play them twice.
Yeah, sure, but they're a dumpster fire.
I think this is not a bad. I'd rather have my GM be like this, but I think Brad is more of a draft savant than a trade savant, which is fine. It's just that's like the Howie Rosemans are going to trade like crazy to try to do things. Brad's just going to stack to the draft, which is fine, but it just sucks sometimes. And the best argument I've heard about the window best argument. I have to give credit to, I believe it was Spiro's account that said this, but he's like, Ben Johnson's gone after this year.
That's fair.
90%
Fair point
gone.
on the window.
So this is could be the tastiest your window is going to look, depending on who you hire. Could be.
But
Well, if he keeps doing trick plays on 2nd and 1, then no. But if we get good Ben, then it could be the best you are. Because him and Goff are inseparable. They love
answer this question. How many teams who haven't made the postseason in a while, like teams on postseason droughts, with teams with like 70% of their roster hasn't played in a playoff game, in the first year they make the playoffs, just straight up go to the Super Bowl? How many times has that happened?
The Bengals.
Yeah.
That's all I can remember right now.
That's it.
But recent, though, Alex. But recent history. That's
And
all I latch on.
their quarterback was Joe Burrow. No offense to Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking playoff experience, Evan. These Rams had playoff experience. My point is,
A couple of them.
like even the Eagles, like a few years ago, they made the playoffs, got absolutely stomped by the Bucs, and then they slowly built. Not slowly, it's like 2
But
years.
as your argument point,
and now
I would
they're really
argue
good.
just because each year in the NFL is totally different with the playoff picture.
Yeah, but everyone acting like this is going to be the only chance ever to ever win anything is just really an indictment on the fan base because we've never seen
I
anything.
don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but you never know what could happen during the season. I mean, look at what the Jets had. Look at what the Vikings are having.
Yeah, and that's part of it. But what we do have is good leadership, a good GM, a good coach, and that stuff. Usually, if you have all that,
Zero pass
your
rush.
window is a lot bigger. Yeah, Evan, the pass rush is going to have to get it better over time if you ever want to win. And I don't think it's fair to say they don't want to win.
I'm not saying that they
and
don't
I've seen a lot
want to
of
win, but what's
the
wrong
Lions
with
don't
wanting
care.
to-
They don't want to win.
What's wrong with wanting to win now?
We also have no idea if Brad offered something or not.
We also, this is, okay, now to defend Brad, something in common with the teams. Maybe not the Seahawks, but Jalen Hurts' cap hit this year is $6 million, and Brock Purdy makes like $100,000. So they do have a lot of flexibility that they aren't paying a quarterback $30 million plus to finagle their cap. That does restrict what Brad can do sometimes. And that's not our fault. I like Jared. His contract's not that bad now as we get older.
It's about to be big
but
next year.
That does hurt us.
$42 million next year.
That is high.
We also just don't know if Brad could have easily been working the phones, had stuff in the works, and Washington could have been like, oh, yeah, we like the Niners trade offer better.
Geno Smith is $10 million for those keeping track at home. Do you guys think that DPJ affects JMO at all? No?
None.
I don't even think you'll see Donovan Peoples-Jones in the first 2 weeks.
I think Donovan Peoples-Jones will be Marvin Jones, and we barely even notice Marvin Jones.
You're adding depth.
I'm just curious. There's some pedigree to him, and he had 800 yards just a year ago, which is not nothing in the NFL. I know 17 games waters that down, but it just made me wonder.
I think
Those
this is
eyebrow
the,
raises. I know.
Amonra's
50 yards
missed
a
some
game.
games, and then when Amonra's not playing well or he's not healthy, we can't rely on Khalif Raymond to have 80 yards a game. Marvin Jones isn't on the team anymore. We can't rely on Josh Reynolds to have
Josh Reynolds.
125 yards again. You need depth. And I think it's just a depth thing.
can do
It's
it,
an
though.
easy pickup. So,
Yeah, it was basically free, so,
2025
It does, though,
6th-round pick.
maybe even just 10%.
yeah, basically free.
Yeah, it does 10%, though, hint that we know this from watching the games and the snap counts, but they're not even close to ready to trust JMO. Because if they truly trusted JMO to play every down, I don't think they feel like they need to go get a wide receiver. But they're like, oh, we can't trust JMO. If someone gets hurt, we need a body because we can't just rely on him for 50 yards a game because they can't, which is fair.
I don't think it's more about the
I don't think it's that because in the first 6 games or 4, whatever it was, without JMO, the receivers were fine, but you had Marvin Jones.
I don't think it was. I don't
That's
think it
an
has to do with
additional
James.
body.
I think
Marvin
it literally
Jones
has
never
to do
did
with
anything.
DPJ's not going to do anything, really.
I think it's the depth of wide receiver.
He's
room.
not.
I think it's the wide receiver room. They said we need to fill that position one way or the other, and that opportunity came to him, and they said they just took it instead of drafting a wide
you
receiver.
have clear
you just
bias
pick
with
it.
this.
Because I've watched DPJ. He's never had a really good quarterback in his life. First time he's ever had a really good quarterback.
He's not a bad player, but he doesn't do anything phenomenal. He's not that much better than Marvin Jones.
He can win jump balls. He could be an heir apparent.
Josh Reynolds can
hip.
win jump balls.
He should get into Josh Reynolds' hip and be Josh
Junior.
Reynolds.
You know what Josh Reynolds has?
Junior.
DPJ doesn't.
Chemistry
7
with Goff.
years of Jared Goff. So
Yeah, well, he's got to start somewhere.
I don't know. I don't think DPJ should not. It's a good depth trade, whatever. It should not move the needle for anybody, including you.
No, not this year, but I do think it's.
I don't even know if it's a
hang
long-term
around
play.
little bit
He's
on this
going to
team.
be a free agent, isn't he?
Yeah, but he'd be cheap. I don't know.
Brad's proven that he doesn't really re-sign guys at this point. So,
As far as this game, besides Gibbs, Max Crosby took my breath.
God,
that
he
guy
is
is
good.
just
The concept, it's just
So
He,
good. Not even
he
the
was
pass
blowing
rush,
my
but the
mind
run.
watching that game. He's
but
insane.
it's like-
Run stop
he is
was-
insane.
there was multiple times
throws
where we
people
just
down.
don't block him because that's the scheme. It's like, this is the run block. We don't care who's on that side. There's no way he's going to make the tackle. Okay, we're going to eye candy him. Dude, he's going to be just so disciplined.
In it,
Oh, you got it.
in Ben Johnson's defense, Max Crosby's a freak.
also-
and he just did crazy things.
It's also, you don't block a all-pro defensive end with a tight end. You don't do that. And we did it multiple times.
I mean, we had almost 600 yards of offense, Evan. It's not like
He's all they have on that
the
defense.
four disruptive plays he made. Like he can make 10 disruptive plays a game for that defense. And
I wish our defensive end had 4 disruptive plays.
Also, like
Necessary.
I do think it needs to be said. Max Crosby is all on his own, and he makes.
By
I was thinking
himself.
it during the game. He makes eye-popping plays that I've never even
is-
remotely seen Aiden Hutchinson do.
It's
anything
Max
close
Crosby
to.
in the backpacks.
And it's not Aiden's
I just
fault,
hated
but like
the whole
holy
pregame.
smokes, is he
the
good?
pregame, I just hated that they were comparing Aiden Hutchinson
Aiden's
to Max
gonna do
Crosby. I was like,
Yeah,
Max
it wasn't
Crosby
fair.
has done so much in the league. I get it. Whatever. Aiden Hutchinson won whatever the Pepsi Defensive Rookie of the Year, whatever cupcake trophy he won.
He didn't win.
I forgot about that.
Um,
Thank you.
Didn't he get second?
The Pepsi,
No,
whatever.
the Pepsi one.
That's not a
Correct. It's not. It's the Nickelodeon Nicktoons award. It's like you can't compare these two right now.
It's really not a fair comparison. You know why they compared him, Evan? Because they're both white and they're from Michigan.
But he's not. He grew up in Texas. He was just born in Michigan. He played high school football in Texas.
No, he lived 8 years in Lapeer.
No, 8 years.
He went to Eastern too.
And he went
That
to
counts.
Eastern.
He took 4 years in
Yeah, but
Ypsilanti.
because
You're-
Eastern-
Yeah, he's
Michigan
deep. In
was-
that. He's been in that beat up so many times.
he owns the Codes Apparel.
He does.
hoodie. He's a Michigan
Eastern
guy.
Michigan was the only Division
DM'd
One
with Max Crosby before.
was the only Division One football program to offer him a scholarship. So he had to take it.
big
cool thing, though-
miss. His tattoo on his body is terrifying.
Which one?
So much ink.
The one that just covers
there's
his whole
multiple
body.
tattoos
The mural.
that joined
I
together.
can't believe someone would do that. But
You're just not.
Pistons
You're just not
lost.
good enough, Alex.
Hutchinson has Pistons
by
lost.
nine.
Pistons lost by 9.
We're not
Didn't
talking
even
dumpster
cover it.
fire.
Well, they were close until the end. It just
Yeah,
fouls
Grant, they
and whatnot.
lost.
Hutchinson has 3 years to get to that point. At least he does have splash plays.
Not
Play
like
where-
that
against
though.
Green Bay.
He's not like a physically
he-
imposing force. Yeah, he's got his cute
That's
little
so
picks
wrong.
and fumbles.
no, Alex.
I knew you'd get mad. See, you try to make me
No, I
mad,
just
Grant.
have-
I can do it to you too.
I have 2 plays off the head though that are Max Crosby-esque, and he still has 3 years to even get the
Okay,
full
let's hear
Max
him.
Crosby form. One, this year with the Packers when Jared Goff threw a pick on the opening drive and Hutch just blew through the right tackle and grabbed Jordan Love by his collar and just threw him down.
Horse collar tackle.
That was a freak. Nope, it was not
Should've
called. 2, last year against the Bears on the goal line.
That
it
was-
an outside zone
killed
right,
Montgomery.
and Hutch came across and WWE him to the ground. Yeah, knowing it was David Montgomery now, who's a beast to take
So you
down.
just named 2
He
plays
has
over
that
2
freaking
years. I
ability.
watched Max Crosby do it 4 times in one football game.
Because we weren't blocking him. Like
I'm just saying though.
You know, and we're like, dude, there's no way he makes this tackle. And he did.
Max Crosby is better. Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm not
Yes,
asking
he's
you
better, but
because
I'm
if
saying-
you do not know ball, if
Max
you think
Crosby
Aiden Hutchinson's
is a
better than Max
top 5
Crosby,
defensive end.
he
Max
really
Crosby's better than the
deserves
Bosa
more
brothers.
credit.
He is.
Hard to argue.
Well,
He's better than
Joey's not
Joey.
good anymore.
better than Joey for sure. Hutchinson's better than Joey.
I haven't watched Joey play in a while.
In my point exactly, Alex. You don't hear about
Hutchinson's
him
like
anymore.
Hutchinson's
All I
the
know is
top
Khalil
6
Mack
for
had 6
defensive player of
sacks
the
in a
year.
game. Is he still good?
Yeah,
He
picked
had
his
6
spot.
sacks in one football game this year. Hutchinson had 9 last year. Is Khalil Mack better than Hutchinson?
Yes.
No,
Oh.
not right now. Not right now.
But 6 sacks in a game this
Hutchinson's
year,
like-
Khalil Mack.
Hutchinson's top 6
Oh.
in defensive player of the year voting.
Well, I almost swore, but
That means a lot.
Voting.
Don't pretend like defensive player of the year doesn't mean
it
anything.
means
in the
it
NFL.
something. Yeah, but I
Bob, what's
watch
his name?
Aiden Hutchinson every week. I support Aiden Hutchinson. I think he's a great football player. I'm happy he's on our team. But I cannot sit there and watch him and think like he is Joey Bosa, Max Crosby, like the guys that he's like getting compared to. Like I don't see him at that level.
That's a problem for you because he's there.
Is
He's in the
he?
upper. He's like what? He's in the
I
second.
can't
tier.
have
He's
him
better than
disappearing
Joey
in
Bosa.
games.
It's also he doesn't disappear. I would say this Monday night was the closest I've ever seen to him disappearing. Every other game, if he's not getting the sack, I know Evan hates pressures, but he's affecting the play by getting into the quarterback's
Trust me,
face. It makes
I
them
support him.
uncomfortable all the time.
It's hard for me to say that he's not at the level of Nick
even
Bosa and Max Crosby
We're on this. Totally fair. I'm not comparing him to those
or
guys.
Myles Garrett or TJ Watt. There's 4.
Correct. But if you look at defensive player of the year, these are
I just
the
named
odds.
4
Michael
defensive
Parsons
ends.
won.
5. Micah Parsons. Almost forgot. He's not even in the top 5 defensive
listen.
ends.
Defensive player of the year on FanDuel. Michael Parsons, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Aiden
Keep
Hutchinson.
going.
Chris Jones, Daniil Hunter, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Trey Hendrickson, Josh Allen from the Jacksonville, Hassan Reddick, Chase Young, Max
Hassan
Crosby.
Reddick.
Wow, why is Max Crosby below
It's a
Chase
team.
Young?
He's not a
That's
bad
absurd.
team.
Daniil Hunter right now is playing better than Hutchinson. Daniil Hunter's having a crazy year. But long-term Hutchinson.
Now, I'm going to get a lot of slack this week because, Alex hates Hutchinson now. Not fair, but don't tell me he's better than those players I just listed. Because he's not.
No, I'm not saying it. This game belonged to, if we think about the game, Gibbs, as Evan said, won us the game. Just a beast. So huge game for Gibbs,
Gibbs gang.
That's hard to say. Huge game.
All
for
one
Gibbs
word,
gang.
if you guys ever want to spell that out. Gibbs gang.
Capital G.
Evan is not Gibbs gang member. I don't believe.
I will never apply to be a part of the gang.
Really, it's just Wilkins and
That's all
Brad.
right.
And Brad.
It was
Listener Brad is
I
Gibbs
really loved
gang.
when he jumped in this. When he jumped in
Ben
the stand. That
V,
was sweet.
not Gibbs gang.
David Montgomery supporter.
I love David Montgomery too.
We'll be interesting to see how that plays out when he comes back because
I don't know.
Gibbs can run through the tackles. For all the
Yeah.
haters out there that said he's not a tough runner, he's a tough runner. He's a bowling ball. He's running through
great
people.
football player. And we are
And his hands are
just
blue.
now seeing the start.
And I don't wish downfall on DeAndre Swift, but it's just nice to see people be like, shut up, you don't know ball. I know everyone jumped to the conclusion of DeAndre Swift when he carved up the Buccaneers, but Gibbs is a better football player, and that's why they took him
He
down.
is.
Now you can argue value in
Kamara.
positional draft, whatever,
Alvin
but better
Kamara,
football
but
player?
better.
Better football player?
He's Alvin Kamara, but better.
He will be, yeah. He'll be better than Alvin Kamara.
All right, lofty praise. I like it, Alex. Put it
Christian
out there.
McCaffrey, black version.
Overreaction.
No, nobody's Christian McCaffrey.
Whoa.
Nobody will ever be
Why
Christian
not?
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey is a different
Yeah,
breed.
McCaffrey's pretty good, but
17 weeks in a row with a touchdown. Or something
Gibbs
like
gang.
that. It's pretty good.
you know what Gibbs is at? 2. Only 15 more.
Dude. Amon St. Brown again, flu game, illness game.
You know what?
We just got to make sure we
I
talk
need to
about him
actually
every
say
week, 'cause
something
I don't know
about
if we deserve him. He's so good.
I was
Yeah.
listening to the McShay Rosillo podcast where they talk about the best players on each team. Yeah, I'm sure you listened to it. For those who didn't, they drafted.
I didn't hear that one.
They
no.
drafted. They had a draft, and you get one player from each team in the NFL. So they basically talked about who's the best player on each team. Rosillo for the Lions said Hutchinson.
Ugh.
Oh, that was interesting.
I wouldn't say that.
And then McShay
He's
said
good though. He's top 4.
Goff, and they didn't even mention Amon at all. I think still
I would say Sewell.
I still think people around the league don't view Amon-Ra as anything that special. And like I work here in Texas, so a lot of differing fans. No one even like knows who he is, other than like fantasy purposes.
Because he's just a smaller guy. He's not like an AJ Brown build, but that's why we need to pound the drum every game he has.
He goes over 100
He just broke
every.
Calvin Johnson's record.
That record also is no like small feat.
He broke a Calvin record. If you break Calvin Johnson records,
He goes over 100 every game. He's the most reliable third down player I've ever seen.
I don't know when I said it, but I said it a while ago. I was like, he'll probably go down as a second.
I remember that. I thought about that on Monday Night Football.
Now, Herman Moore, I need to do some research on Herman Moore. He's a dog. Not taking anything away from him. I wasn't alive for it. Monroe is living up to whatever that could be. I mean, and
just because he has no flash.
A long time. No, he's about his business. Except when he humped on opening night.
Kids.
When he did the
he scored touchdowns this year too. So
he's not going to hit the. I don't think he's going to hit my bet though. I had him like over 9.5.
He has 6 or 7.
He didn't score on Monday though, did he?
No.
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 Either way, he's like an auto 80 yards. Okay, if he doesn't have at least 80 yards, it's an off game for him. So, such a good football player.
And shout out you guys.
J-Mo did his classic dropped and catch.
Shout out you guys for pre-draft. That was your guy.
Dude, I mean,
it's too
we
easy.
might need to pull that up again. We might just need to keep banging that drum of just going into the draft, I had no idea who he was.
I didn't watch a single lick of his college.
I watched some of his college games, a couple of his games.
I didn't even know who
I knew
he
him
was.
out of high school because he was Economus's.
I knew that his brother. Yeah, that's it.
But once I started watching the YouTube tapes after, I was like, "There's some like something to this kid's game." I think the Heinz Ward
19 other receivers.
I see it
before him.
And we said Rob Woods for Goff, but
Lamar only has 3 touchdowns this year.
Chiefs, Bucks, and
he makes like $700,000. Get that man money.
He's gone over 100 in 5 of the 7 games he's played.
It's crazy. He's so good. So good at football. Catches
Green
every
Bay,
day.
he had a bad game.
I hate to be SOL guy, but there was some SOL grant that came out when we fumbled that football.
Yeah.
That was a bad ref call.
I'm not going to lie.
Oh my God, it's happening.
The vibes and morale of the chat was way too low on Monday. Like you would have thought.
That fumble.
Yeah, listen, things are going to happen. Okay. And that was a bad call. It wasn't even the Lions' fault.
Yes. But that was SOL type where the refs screw us. Everything's crumbling.
We're built to sustain a little bit of garbage now. We're not a bad football team.
Yeah.
So everyone just got to chill out when bad stuff happens.
Because wasn't it a pick 6, then we drove, then the fumble happened, and then we scored after that?
Like, they got the ball back to go to
great
take
drive. Pick 6, great drive to answer. Then
garbage fumble.
Bad call fumble. Then stop.
Max Crosby too on that, by the way.
Yeah. When they showed that replay,
it was so egregious.
His legs can't be up. His poor ankle was getting.
What made me mad is
on.
the announcers like even doubled down. They're like, "Oh yeah, he must be floating there." Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, Joe Buck was like, he must be levitating if that's a fumble.
You gotta be kidding me. But like in general, like we're gonna lose this game. Garbage was a little outrageous on Monday, and
it was just sucks because you knew deep down you were absolutely dominating. And the stat after that it was the second most yards differential between just behind when the Dolphins beat the Broncos by 50.
Yeah, but we were never in
points.
doubt
You knew
of
we were
losing
dominating
that game ever.
100% we were. 100%.
What game were
you can't even roll your eyes.
I can't because I never once thought we were even remotely
can't.
going to lose that game. Never.
You can't because there's still a glaring problem with our team that is going to bite us in the playoffs that I think we should have addressed in the trade deadline that's happened now to the Bucks and the Raiders. And it is we give up blown coverages that should be 90-yard touchdowns. We're just playing garbage cans for quarterbacks. And someone will hit that. And we will
the
lose.
One was
Devontae
that
Adams,
was Cam Sutton.
They missed him twice. They missed him
our
twice.
best corner.
Yeah, one was double
made a
move.
mistake.
And Baker missed 3. One got hit at the line. But we are blowing coverages in the secondary, which is unacceptable in week 8 of football. And it's going to bite us.
You need CJ GJ back.
Hopefully
that's why we didn't trade. We're just going to get him back.
I think he's going to be
He
back.
is.
I assume.
Not soon.
Like Torn Peck, I think you can
don't
come.
need him
No,
for
I think like week 16.
like week 12.
No, I wouldn't rush him.
12 is in 3 weeks.
But there's your trade. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson coming back for the playoffs. People forget about that.
And Houston and Pascal.
Pascal played last
Those are
week.
trades.
Or Monday. Yeah.
Did he? I thought he sat.
He was
I did not see
dressed.
him.
I know that.
Pascal played against
I don't
the
know if I
Ravens.
count him as
He's
like
a
a trade.
He played against the Raiders. 70% sure.
Fell asleep during the second half.
I don't think I really.
Lapotomatic.
I will say this though.
That needs to be.
Laporta. Laporta's.
I would be a Sam Laporta because every time that he catches a ball and then they zoom in on his face, him walking back to the sideline, he is showing zero emotion. Like he never even got the ball. Just
He does.
Yeah, Alex says he
does.
trash talks
He
people.
talks a lot of
there's
trash.
no way he does because I swear to God, that guy doesn't know what emotion is.
I thought the same thing on Monday, Evan, because I was like, I know he talks trash, and then on Monday he was just
He
straight
doesn't
mute
know
face the whole
emotion.
game.
He got like hit super hard in the hip. Like if that was like a foot lower, it's breaking.
He gets
his
up
leg,
and
he
yells.
got up and
Yeah.
just turned and like no emotion. I was like, dude,
Yeah, I do remember.
that hurt me.
What did I say preseason about Sam Laporta's stats? Because whatever I said, I think I'm pretty dead on it. I think I said he'd have a lot of touchdowns.
thought I was
No,
the one
I
that
said
You
he'd
said
have a
Jahmyr
bunch
Gibbs
of touchdowns.
would have Alvin Kamara rookie stats.
Yeah.
So good luck there, buddy.
Yeah. But I also said Sam Laporta would have a great tight end stats.
I think it was like I think you said like 800.
Well, the scrimmage yards.
Scrimmage yards, Evan. Jahmyr Gibbs is doing all right.
Scrimmage yards.
He has to have 81 catches, Alex.
Yep. He has a lot.
29. It's not a lot.
That's a lot. It's the most wide receiver targets for a
the
running
biggest
back
thing-
in the NFL.
What? Yeah, because he lines up out there. Like,
Biggest
who
thing.
gives a shit
What?
about that?
The most
That is
wide
a
receiver
dog shit
targets for a
stat.
running back. Oh,
He has the most
my
targets
God,
as a running back in the NFL.
Yeah, because the Chargers don't know how to throw Austin Eckler the ball. It's disgusting.
His 33 catches, Evan.
I was off by 4,
personal
so
with fantasy
like
football.
sue me.
And he's played 6 games.
My last point
That's pretty good.
Are you talking about targets or catches?
is JMO.
Sorry.
If he played a full season on the pace he's on, he's on the pace for 94
David
catches.
Montgomery's not playing right now.
That's with David Montgomery playing games.
Oh, David Montgomery hasn't played like the last 2.
Well, do you know how many catches Jahmyr Gibbs has had the last 2 games? 15 of his 33. So
Half.
maybe you're right.
Half. Half of all.
But I don't think that's going anywhere.
He's not going to get 8 touches on the first drive when David Montgomery's coming back. I can tell you that.
That first drive for my fantasy team was big.
Now I feel like I'm in a fantasy football. I'm in a fantasy football show right now. We're winning football games.
I won my fantasy football match because of it.
Play the Chargers.
Speaking of winning fantasy football games, I like finally getting JMO in on a route that's not just a deep ball. I'd like to see him across the middle more. It was a great. I know he dropped the first one, which you got to catch it, but the catch over the middle proved
Catch
to
over
me,
the middle,
and
yes.
I'm gonna go on the theory that the Max Crosby shocked his nervous system. Now he can catch
Jumped him.
balls. After seeing the end zone film of JMO catching the ball across the middle, that was a really tough catch.
It was. I don't
Really
know
tough
why
catch.
he catches stuff like that and then drops. Like I
And he
guarantee
held on to
we
the one
catch.
against Crosby.
Well, that wasn't a catch. It was a
But
handoff.
a lot of people fumble that. He got rocked on a touch pass.
Killed. It's funny. I laughed. I thought it was hilarious.
I think we got to get him more involved on those. More slants, more
Speed and space, Grant. Speed and
stuff like
space.
that. That was
You're
good to
Josh
see.
Gaddis. You want speed and space.
Josh Gaddis, baby. He just lost to Northwestern.
Oh.
All right. That is all NFL and Lions. Let's get into college football.
Do we have to? Oh, I have
I'd
something
like
to
to do
say.
this when
This is awesome.
the
Are you doing
CFP
big
rankings
picture
come
first,
out?
college football?
Big,
All right, never mind. I don't
big
have something
picture
first to
takes.
say.
Yeah. Do you have big picture?
I have something to talk about that we forgot
that
to
just
talk about
reminded me.
last week.
I have something to talk about that I just forgot about. That Lions #1 seed is fully alive. I was going through other team schedules. I'm not going to read them all off, but if you're bored, go look at the Eagles
I
schedule.
looked at the Eagles
Go look at the
schedule.
Niners
We've mentioned
They popped up the
and
Eagles
look at
schedule
some other
on
team
whenever
schedules.
they played last. I saw it.
Those teams won their division last year. They have hard schedules. Breaking news.
Insane.
We didn't.
We could be the number 1 seed.
With the Chargers, Bears, Packers,
really,
Saints, Bears, Broncos.
We don't play another
That's
team.
our next-
We don't
that's our
play a
next
team with
favorite
a
in
winning
all of us.
record.
I do not
We
think
don't
we'll
play a
be
team with a winning
favorites.
record.
I do not think we'll be favorites against the Saints or
Dallas.
the Chargers.
The Saints are terrible.
It's the
Oh,
NFL.
Evan, respect
the
is better.
lines
Those
are
teams
always
suck.
like 3 to like 1, except for
You can lose to anybody, Grant.
We might lose those games, but we should be
Kellen Moore
favored. We
revenge
should be
game.
expecting to win. Those teams suck.
well, it's just
Against us?
at New Orleans. That's my
Brand
only thing.
Staley
at New Orleans
should be fired. Derek
Taysom
Carr,
Hill
3 picks.
doesn't.
See ya.
He runs the ball. They don't let Derek Carr throw the ball. It's Taysom Hill.
Alvin Kamara's still good.
That defense is still pretty good.
Yeah. They're not a bad team.
And 8 of 9 of our games left are indoors in domes. Huge for
Jared's
golf.
going crazy.
The only game that's not is at the Bears.
We might be the 1 seed.
That's
Win a divisional
crazy.
game.
8 over
in the
9 are
conference championship.
indoors.
We're going to be so screwed when we have to go to Philly in the playoffs. We're going to be freezing.
What do you mean? We're going to host every game, Alex. We're the 1 seed. You know how big that
It'd
would
be
be
so
for us?
awesome that we get
So
the 1
big.
seed and we don't have a good pass rush. Oh my gosh.
Let's,
It wouldn't
guys,
It won't matter.
Guys,
the 12th man.
let's win the bye week.
No,
We lost the bye week because we didn't
I
make
am
a trade out.
so
we
set on
lost
being
it.
the 1
It's
seed.
over.
I need it bad.
All right, my college football thing is I need to ask Evan, just need him to just comment on the situation.
Caleb Williams doesn't play
we can
defense.
talk about
Nothing
it.
I can do about it.
Oregon State losing to Arizona.
And
last
you
week.
want him as your head coach. You piece of crap. He's an Oregon State head coach. That's all he is. And you wanted Mike Elko. All these Michigan State fans were like, yeah, Elko, Smith, these are the guys. And they're losers. They always have been losers, always will be losers. They can't turn around a program. Just because they had a good start to a season doesn't mean they're good coaches.
Yeah, Evan. You know who is a good coach and who I actually want? Not those guys. Urban Meyer.
Yes.
But no, you've been banging the drum for Oregon State all year, and then they lost to Arizona.
Correct.
So
I mean,
just don't get
they're
it.
still ranked. They're 16th.
That's 2 losses
They're
now.
16th in the country
They're
still.
dead. They're dead in the college football playoff.
Well, they're 16th in the country. They have a New Year's Six bowl.
You don't have a comment. You don't want to be like, maybe they were overrated.
I don't think they're overrated. I think they're fine. They're 16th in the country right now in the college football playoff.
Are they a well-coached team?
Well, you want him as your head coach, so you asked me about that.
I want Urban Meyer. I just don't want Brian Harline, Evan. I think that's okay to understand.
I don't want Urban Meyer because he's going to retire in 4 years.
I can't do this again.
I
to that.
mean,
We'll
if
get to
that's
that.
true,
They
Evan.
lost to Arizona. They messed up on the road. What do you want me to say?
I just wanted to see if you're okay
Well,
because you're a real team. Sucks.
I woke up on
So
Sunday morning. I checked the score. I was like, oh, they lost, and I got over it.
10:30 kicks don't count. That's what I would have said, Evan.
It's fair.
Arizona's playing good ball. Judge Fish, definitely was buzzing.
A name maybe Evan should familiarize himself with.
A Michigan man.
That's really gross.
And
But
Michigan
he's
State.
got a terrible Arizona
can't
program doing okay. So
You might as well hire Pep Hamilton.
I already said this morning, like, I don't give a shit about the Michigan State football program anymore because they're going to get a coach and he's going to rinse and repeat. It's going to try to build up. You're going to have one good year in the first 3 years, and then
why not Lance Leopold, Evan? Is that who you want then?
no, he's old.
Sorry,
and
we're on the
crusty.
coaching talk.
He's old and crusty.
Who do you want?
Young. New is always better. Young. I want a young coach and you hire him for 10 years.
Jason Candle from Toledo.
Shit, his team's 8-1. Who gives a shit?
Sorry,
I
Grant.
think-
There.
Continue. Big picture. College
I
football.
think that no, that's fine. I think Michigan State fans. I understand Evan's point about age, and that's fine to be the hill you die on. I get that. At least you're consistent because you said it about Urban Meyer too. I just want Michigan State fans to respect Lance Leipold more and not like just turn your nose up if his name comes up.
We
He's
do
a
respect
dog.
him.
People, their AD.
He's 60.
I don't think a lot of the fan base does. He's 59. Urban Meyer's 59.
They don't have the same resumes.
Urban Meyer's better. I'm just saying
yes.
that people are going to act like Lance would be a failure
No,
if you
I
can't
wouldn't-
get
I
Urban
wouldn't-
when it's
I wouldn't
not
be mad.
because Kansas's athletic director had to give out tickets for free to fill their stadium just 2 years ago.
So did
That man
Michigan.
needs a lot of respect on his
wasn't
name.
2 years ago.
Free
This
Cokes.
is Brady Hoke. You
Don't forget
got
it.
2 tickets if you bought
They
it.
gave out free for
what?
Free pops to go to the game. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
football?
Because no one would go.
Oh,
No.
No.
COVID years?
Grant.
This is Brady Ho.
Pre-COVID.
This is Brady Ho, Grant.
They had to hand out tickets.
Oh.
It got dark there. You were tuned out. You didn't
That's
even
why
know.
we can't get rid of. That's why we can't get rid of Jim. Those are dark times for the program.
God, that's
You don't have to get rid of him. He's going to get rid of himself.
Thank you for
Let's do-
reminding me of that.
Evan. That's crazy. Yeah, I'd totally check out of my teams when they suck. Not worth my time. Let's get into since it's the first edition of the playoff rankings, I'd like to hear your guys' top 5. What you think in your brain. No one watches. If you watch that show, I think it's lame. I just look at my tweet and sum it up in one word.
I'm a loser, Grant.
I knew Evan watched it.
Even if your team's
Yes, I'm
not
dialed
involved,
into it.
That's disgusting. I'll be honest. This is
That's
probably the
crazy.
first time I haven't watched it because usually isn't it during the Champions Classic is the first one?
Yeah, I think it was a week early this year.
So I didn't watch
No,
it.
it's
I
going
usually
to
watch
be
it
on the
by
Champions Classic. I think the
dialed
second
in
week's
popcorn.
always. I think they're right.
whatever. That's the only one I
I'm a
watch
loser.
if we suck.
I'm a loser. Well, I did swear at my TV as soon as
Evan, you might be.
I just did swear at my
You're just a
TV as
ball
soon as I
guy.
saw
You just
Booger
love-
on, if that counts.
You just love college football so much that you're 2 and
All right,
20
Evan, you go first
teams.
with your top 5.
It's not even in it.
Correct.
Oh,
Well, Air Force got
bad.
gypped. Air Force is
Right,
an
that's how
absolute
college
wagon. They're
basketball.
they only got ranked 25th, which is a complete joke.
Schedule.
Don't give it.
But Michigan's schedule.
Yeah,
They only got knocked one,
too
and
lame.
they're knocking Air Force like 8 spots. Top 5.
All right, your
Number
top
1,
5.
Georgia. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Florida State. Number 4, Michigan.
5.
Number 5, Washington. Yeah, because Washington beat Oregon. Sorry, but Oregon's playing good
Nice.
football. Danlin.
Grant.
I'll go 1
Yes, they should be.
Georgia, 2 Michigan, 3 Florida State, 4 Ohio State, 5 because I'm not afraid Oregon. They'd beat Washington if they played again on a neutral site.
What if it's
Georgia.
at the Seahawks?
1. Bucknuts 2. Georgia 1, Bucknuts 2. Is there any other teams available?
There's 5 undefeated teams towards the top, and Air
Don't
Force.
do that to Air Force.
Michigan number 3. And Washington number 4 because they have a better win than the rest of them.
5.
Florida State, but I hate Florida State. I think they suck. I would honestly put Oregon over Florida State.
Was that Michigan thing you did a bit? Is that supposed to be like funny,
Michigan.
Alex? Where you forgot?
I was trying to think of
Oh,
how I could put someone above them. Yes.
It's easy. Florida State can
But I
go
can't.
above them because Florida State beat LSU and Michigan has not beat a top-ranked team.
Yeah, but I gave Georgia the benefit of the doubt of being good last year and keeping them at 1, so I had to give Michigan the benefit of the doubt
That's
of
fair.
saying number
They
2.
Georgia
Right.
earns it.
I let Ohio State go ahead of Michigan, knowing that Michigan's just going to move right ahead of them when they beat them.
What was Georgia's closest
Nice.
loss? I mean, but you can also
If
say the
that
same thing
happens.
about Michigan. They haven't really had a close loss.
I'll say this though. This is a question I had
Auburn,
from
Evan. You
watching
remember the Peyton Thorne game?
scoreboard
The run,
watching.
never forget.
The run.
Evan, is this starting to feel like the Georgia Invitational again? Because I'm
What
starting to
have
get
I
vibes
always
it
said?
could
I
get
say
that
college
way.
football is a cycle. And Georgia's at the top dog right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, funny. Alabama was it. Now it's going to be Georgia. In 2 or 3 years or 3 or 4 years, it's going to be somebody else. And this is going to be a cycle. But Georgia is, now granted, everyone's going to be like, well, Georgia hasn't really played anybody. But I think Georgia's just that much better than everybody. I think they're vastly well coached on defense. And everyone's like, oh, they have a new quarterback and all this. But he's been in the system for 3 years. Yeah.
He's really good too. He needs more.
It does
back.
suck that
You can
Brock
sing it.
Bowers is injured because Brock
really
Bowers
good.
is officially the best, still is the best college football player in the country. I will stand on that grave.
Maserati Marv. Well,
I will stand on the grave.
21
Brock Bowers, number 1.
Maserati Marv. I hate Gus Johnson now. I'm sorry. I don't like him on football. I already know exactly how it's going to go on November 25th. Maserati Marv.
I just
but Gus
full
Johnson's
on
a
like
Michigan
15-minute water cooler talk at work about Gus Johnson and Maserati Marv and how it's just gotten so out of hand and how much like Gus loves Ohio State even though he doesn't. So it's so weird that he like seems like he does.
He has to because he does their game every other week.
He loves names.
Maserati Marv.
Last year, he does the same thing for Michigan, like 80 yards, untouched the Don. Joel. It's just he's like a caricature of himself. It's always the laugh after he does it too.
Oh, it's so bad. I used to love Gus Johnson, but it's getting out of hand.
You love him.
Dicker the kicker.
But to your point, Evan, I don't know if I'm fully invitational yet with Georgia, but it feels like they reminded us against Florida.
Florida was
Even though
up
it's just
7-0.
Florida,
No.
hey, they'll
I'm
just
not
kick
in the
your
Georgia
ass.
Invitational group this year yet.
Yeah, but Georgia gets top 13,
almost
top
lost to
15
Ohio State
ranked
last year,
matchups this week.
Georgia's not a Georgia Invitational because Michigan is murdering every team they play.
Michigan's going to murder Georgia.
No. Michigan's murdering every team they play. So, like, they deserve to be in that
Yeah,
conversation.
but Georgia's back-to-back national champions, and Michigan hasn't. Like,
Michigan's back-to-back playoff appearances, so that's something.
Here's your
It's not nothing.
cake for participating. Like, here's your ribbon. Like, what are we giving them?
I'm giving them they have the experience of playing in the playoff now 2 years in a row, and if they
Asterisks.
lay it
got
dot
their-
again,
both years there, asterisks. Mike Tirico
they
calling
did
it
cheat
out.
to get there, but they got there. And if I will say, if Michigan makes the playoff this year, which they should, and they lose in the semifinal, utter disaster. Utter disaster. No,
Florida State.
you go 3 years in a row and you don't win the semifinal game one time, it's a
Disaster.
disaster.
If it's Georgia again, though, I mean, Georgia's
You have an excuse
different.
already lined up.
No, I'm just saying, if we face Georgia,
It's gonna.
I'm
It's
not going into that game
you'll
confident.
you'll look
We're
back at the
Georgia.
run. You'll be like, "Ah, it's great. We made it."
You have to
3
play
years in a row."
Oregon or
You lose
Washington.
3 years in a row in the semifinal,
Oregon or Washington, Grant.
especially after the TCU loss last year. That was terrible.
I actually feel good about us playing Washington. I think we do.
I'd love to see that matchup. Not because I think anybody
they
would
can't
win.
stop
I just think that'd
anybody
be a
on
great game.
defense. But maybe we won't be able to stop their offense. But I feel like we could. This is a point. Maybe this is big picture here. I don't really want to talk about Michigan Purdue. The debate I was getting in with like people on TikTok, spending my time trying to boost numbies. They just kept being like, what's the point of playing the rest of 2023 because it's all going to be vacated anyways? Which the vacating part, I've already said my piece. I did also TikTok to explain that I don't really give a shit about vacated wins because I asked this question to people. I was like, Ohio State fans, your 2011 season where you won a bowl game, does that not make you happy anymore? Do Louisville fans not pretend like they won 2013 basketball? I'm sure they claimed the title. Why would you not? Reggie Bush, do we just not
Reggie
acknowledge
Bush
he was one of
should
the best
still
players
have
ever
Heisman.
because he doesn't have the Heisman?
Yeah, that was a tragedy.
So it's like we still look back and you can't, like I said, you can't. If they say that 2022 when at Ohio State in Alex's living room, if they say that didn't happen, you can't take away my happiness I felt that day. So it doesn't really change how I view that game. Like rival fans are going to talk smack no matter what at this point. They've already been doing it and they deserve to. That's what college football is about. But the point about 2023, like them stepping in, I'm fine if they do. If more evidence comes out and they they have all the smoking guns and yep, we need to stop this, which is fine. Go ahead. But if they let Michigan play, people are going to keep doing the asterisk, vacate the title. At this point, though, the operation has stopped. Like for Penn State, Ohio State, the Big Ten championship game, playoff semifinal, playoff final. If it gets to that, all those teams, well, granted, have to do a little bit more work and change their signs. They already changed their signs for things anyways. I don't think there going to be a bunch of asterisks on those games because the operation is done. They're not going to be continuing to steal signs. I feel like those games are on even playing field now. But I don't know if I'm looking at it in the light. I'm curious your guys' perspective. If you still would view playoff wins is
No,
asterisk.
I think the
I don't
asterisk
really
is just
view
a
their wins
joke.
as asterisks.
But also, like
Yeah.
your point of like saying like it's on the even playing field. You don't know how much they recruited or scouted before, like the season. Like before.
Well, what
like,
we know is that teams that they're going to be playing are definitely changing them.
that's my whole point, Grant. I don't even know if they did, but there's a good chance that somebody was at the Notre Dame Ohio State game.
Very fair
Yeah.
to say.
But every team's alerted now, so it's kind of on them. I know it's not fair that they have to go change their signs, but it's on you.
I'll just do the Jay Johnson thing. Just have your quarterback
using
from
signs
sideline
that
to
Michigan's
sideline.
stealing, or do what TCU did and use your ones that they think you have and they're fake, because that article came out and that was genius.
And it
Or
worked.
throw it to the best player on the
Smart.
field and throw it to Quentin Johnson.
And it
That's
worked.
also a good plan.
I do wonder as more and more and more and more
several
comes out and all the videos and blah, blah,
Is
blah.
it true that he was wearing Michigan shoes on the sideline for the Central Michigan State game?
I didn't see that.
The only pictures I saw were grainy, like white Nikes. They weren't Michigan, but there was Nike, not Adidas. So that's why people were saying this is probably Connor Stalions, because you have to wear Adidas
Yeah,
stuff
that's
if you're
a
on
strict
staff
rule.
like that. But he did have an Adidas polo. I don't know. It has to
It's
be him,
him.
because they would have. I think they would have denied it. Although Central strikes me as a program that may not exactly know. They might take them a
My
couple
thing
days
for
to
like
figure
the
out
Central thing would be
who
just
was
like
even down there.
super easy to like figure out. Like you just walk into like the football and be like, all right, who is this? Like you have the picture up here, be like, all right, guys, who is this? And then nobody raises their hand and be like, all right, it's not one of us.
Yeah.
We move on. But then there's a whole thing of like, okay, who invited him? Who did he talk to on the sideline? Why are you talking to him? Who got him the passes? And how was he still there the entire time? So there's a whole nother thing of like Jim McElwain has to now like police his own staff.
Yeah, fire up Chips fans. Where are you at?
Correct.
They're probably all
They had a big
Michigan
win
fans.
last night.
But I think just because the point that I was thinking of is for 2023, just this year, if they want to vacate stuff from last year because those are tainted.
but
do you think they're tainted?
Do. This year, though, do I?
The more I see this stuff,
probably-
I
I mean,
think,
some-
yeah,
some
it
coach-
is.
Some coaches, but part of me
Not
though,
to
that
take away
I
from
always go
Michigan's
back on,
talent.
which I defend my guys. Is it was talked about though in 2021 and 2022 how known this was, like among coaches that were just kind of saying it to each other. Like Shiana was talking to people, Ohio State was telling TCU. Why wouldn't they just do what TCU did?
TCU had a month to
Like,
prepare.
A lot of them knew. I'm sure Michigan had advantages, no doubt. Do I think they're all tainted like in a big light? No. Did they get advantages? Sure. But I don't look at it like that team was like, but that, who knows? What if they come out and they lose to Penn State? Then yeah, I'll look at it differently. Like if this team, now that they don't have signs because people can change them, if they suck, then yeah, it'd be the biggest, it'd be hilarious in a sad way for me, but for you guys, it'd be funny if they just suck now. That would be obvious
my
then
dream.
that it helped them a lot. Like if they lose to Ohio State by 20, then
Can't
obviously
say I
it's
wouldn't be
fine.
happy about it.
And it's all
I can't say I wouldn't be happy.
I'd be the first to say it. But my point about this year was like, signs or no signs, Michigan's schedule is a joke. They're beating all 8 of
I
those
don't
teams.
know.
Yeah, they don't
You
need
would
signs
struggle
Without
against
signs.
Michigan
They could give the
State?
other teams their signs.
I can't even joke about it. It's pathetic.
Like, my
Peyton
point
Thorne
is,
said
like,
this week, haven't you see that?
yeah, I mean, I would if I was a former
Last year was kind of close.
if I was a former college coach that played Michigan, I would like feed into it. I'd be like, well, they raise some eyebrows. Granted, it could raise some eyebrows where like you think
You have to take away that. Wow. You have to take the whole tunnel thing away because Michigan cheated in that.
correct. The tunnel thing never happened. They players knew.
Yeah,
about
it didn't.
about
It
the
wouldn't have happened because we would have won. And then the cheating, because you guys cheated, so then we lost. So then we got pissed. We got pissed because you cheated. It all makes sense. Mel found out because he's such a smart guy. And that's why we beat the crap out of your players in the tunnel.
What if Stallions set up the Brennan?
Probably
Tracy
did.
But Grant, my thing is like with the
I honestly wouldn't. If someone
guy
told me
is
that, I'd be
something
like, yeah, I agree.
with the NCAA, I don't think we'll ever
Go
like
ahead.
find out with like the Michigan ruling until like 2 or 3 years from now.
That's how it typically goes.
Yeah, the
but
NCAA takes forever.
I think NCAA will do it.
I think this year, this is too
think they'll
big.
do it
This
this
is too big of a
They
national
were,
thing.
they were already on campus.
If you want
like,
any
interviewing
punishment this
people in
week,
the athletic
this
department.
year, I think the Big Ten has to step in. I don't think the Big Ten will step in because of money reasons. And
Pete Thamel did, to your point. Pete Thamel suggested his gut feel
Yeah,
is the
correct.
Big Ten won't do anything.
Most people think the
This
Big
year.
Ten will do nothing. The college football playoff already said they'll do
But
nothing.
Evan, I learned this. I didn't know this going into this year. The Big Ten commissioner is the guy who penalized the Astros.
I saw that. And
Really?
he didn't do
Juicy.
anything to the Astros.
Really, he max Evan. He max penalized the Astros for cheating.
Max penalized?
So, I mean, first year as a Big Ten, he gave them the max penalty as a Big
They
Ten.
didn't lose anything.
They lost
But
George
like they
Springer.
banned people from like the sport.
They lost Carlos Correa.
Okay, and then they
Well,
won
technically,
like the World Series.
Like
Ask your
Yeah,
coworkers.
I have.
What the
And they
penalty
talked about it. They said it was like a slap on the wrist. It was nothing.
AJ Hinch had to go coach. Has to
Oh, I
go
hope
coach.
I've seen the
manage
complete
Tigers.
opposite of what you just said, Grant. I saw because of the Big Ten commissioner doing that to the Astros that Michigan's fine because he's not going to do anything about it.
People on TikTok
Oh,
saying
if that's where you're getting your information from, then I'm learning a lot.
Some guy was like, "Do you know who the Big Ten commissioner is?" I was like, "Astros guy." He's like, "Guy that gave Astros the
They didn't-
max." I was like, "Oh shit."
I don't know where you get your information, but that is not right.
I just don't want
I
them
don't
to
think
mess
they're
up
going
this
to
season because this is all I
don't think
have.
they will. There's too much money involved. Can you imagine if they like
Be a lot of
punish the
money
season
involved. They
like
get big
next
ratings.
week, Grant? Like that Ohio State Michigan game would not mean
So,
anything.
it'd be unprecedented. Yeah, but they teach everyone a lesson.
That game would not mean anything.
I'd feel bad
if
that
they
like the
played
game
last
would
before
matter.
that game. That game would not mean anything. Ohio State would not have to play in it because if Ohio State still lost that game and Michigan can't like go into any postseason, so Michigan wouldn't be able to go to the Big Ten championship game.
That's not going to happen, though.
Correct. I'm just saying if they did, I know there's a 0.0001% chance it does happen, but if they did, Ohio State wouldn't even have to play Michigan because if they still lose, they hold a tiebreaker for Penn State.
Yeah, I would hope most Bucks fans would want the game to be played because it's setting out to be an all-timer with the tensions between the allegations, the tensions.
Grant, I'll tell you what,
pettiness
there's a lot of
between the two
soft people in
schools.
America right now, and I know
All-timer.
there's a small percentage of Ohio State fans that would want that game to be canceled or Michigan not to be able to. Why would want to?
Why?
Is there a
Correct.
reason
But there's
Why?
off
Probably
this
won't.
topic, because this is never going to
Hell yeah.
happen. Is there a reason that Michigan fans just like can't accept like that they cheated and instead are like trying to turn it on Ohio State, that Ohio State is cheating? Can we just stop that?
No,
victim
because
blame.
that's fans, dude. If you're acting like Ohio State fans wouldn't do the same, Michigan State fans, Texas fans.
Well, we need to do
Alabama
it
Me
fans,
personally,
that's
I
everyone's
wouldn't.
nature is to like.
We got to cheat better for this to
Yes, if
happen.
we want to
Come
cheat,
on.
we need to cheat better.
You would never.
Well, when Urban gets here, we'll be
But,
the best
okay.
at cheating, and then you guys will be screwed.
In more ways than one.
When,
Oh yeah, and we're
now
for
it's
it.
different because now I think people. Yeah. Also, this the irony of all I see every day.
It's
is
not really
Michigan State
Grant.
fans saying
Fans.
fans flag, do what it takes to win, but then being like Michigan State fan, Michigan.
For example,
Ours
Like,
isn't our
well, yeah, we're
entire-
all-
the Chris
we're all in the same boat. We're trying to
Ballases,
win
the
football
Chris
games.
Ballases of the world, saying that Urban Meyer is currently scouting for Ryan Day in Ohio State every single week, and he's on the Fox broadcast, Fox sidelines, watching Michigan
That was my
signs, blah
theory.
blah 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 blah, and then he goes on to say, until he takes the MSU job, to completely tarnish his legacy there and try to beat the school he loves annually. That's a person that is a media member for your scum university, and I just can't believe it. Like, they write like that.
Well, people that call those people media members, that's your own fault. Those are not media members.
I
They write for blogs. They're fans. They went to the university.
But you can't act like you have information and then write like that. You can't do that.
Well, yeah, sure you can.
I didn't click it.
The internet is whatever you want it to be, Alex.
I hate it.
The biggest problem.
I hate it.
The biggest problem.
I hate it.
on Twitter is that people.
I hate it.
People view those.
I
People
don't view him. I
as
view him as a
sourceless,
moron.
which
That's
they
what I
are.
call
Oh,
him.
the blog posts are morons.
They are.
Yes, Evan. No one's ever denied that.
Oh.
Message board people are having a run though. They've been.
They're right about a lot of
shit
stuff,
that's
and that's
come
just a
on his
fact.
face. That Tennessee fan last year called this out. He said
Evan hates the message boards because of the people that are doing it, but like the information that comes out of there is usually on point.
No, you're
It just
No.
I don't know about probably, but 50%.
It's less than
More,
50.
it's probably a.
Parts.
Well, yeah. You have to know the people that actually have information.
Hand up, since we're in the trust tree, there's a guy from Michigan I will tell people to follow. His name's Josh Henschke. He actually does not he's just trying to make a buck. He's very down the middle. He writes for Rivals Michigan. I did a 30-day free trial to follow up with this stuff because I need to know what's going on
Congrats on the board.
before I see it on Twitter.
Welcome.
So I'm in. And he is not risky. He just says
There are guys that
actually
just
hear,
say what they
so I
hear, and
respect
then
it.
there's like the basement trolls that just say like make stuff up. If you know who the people that actually have information are, be like that. You can easily go through
Cut.
the BS. But the information from real sources that comes out on there is a lot of times accurate.
But I don't blame fans for
You
trying
can
to-
defend, but you can all.
that's
I
just
mean,
what fans
Blindly
do.
defend.
don't act like a nothing burger. It's no longer a nothing burger. Grant.
No, no. Yeah, at the beginning I see why. It's evolved.
It is, but
Now
like
that
some
we're
people
base
still
20,
can't see
whatever
that
this is.
because people's brains are the size of peanuts.
No, I think all Michigan fans that are still in denial, stage of grief, are just clean onto the fact that they're praying and trying to find evidence.
You know what the
Wolf and
The actual thing is, a lot of Michigan fans
But it's
are
still gonna-
just like
Harbaugh's-
Connor Stallions. He embodies that university. Psychopaths. Yeah, you can.
A lot of people though.
You can.
I'm ignorant, but I think
Yes.
a lot of universities.
Yes.
Like
There
that's
are
just
probably
how
some
football is.
psycho Michigan State
Handoffs.
people that would do that.
If I was Connor Stallions, but I would
If
just
Mark
put me on
D'Antoni has something to do that, he's doing it.
And Mark D'Antoni
Yeah,
asked
he
me to
is.
go scout in person. Here's $15,000. Go to these universities and these games. I would do it.
You wouldn't write a
money
500-page
trail.
manifesto.
I would not write a 500-page manifesto. No.
You indirectly brought it up, Evan. But the money trail is huge. That is going to be a huge factor in how this case, how strict this punishment is. I think it's who is giving him money. Cam sent a theory from someone that Connor Stallion's parents are loaded, and that he might have just funded
doesn't-
it from them, which would be big for
The
Michigan.
article came out
There's-
saying
Michigan's
he
not
gets
getting out of this.
$15,000 allowance.
I agree. They're
Cameron
going to get a punishment, but
needs to know that.
it's the levels of punishment. I think every Michigan fan understands there's going to be punishments. It's just the level.
A week ago, there was real talk between your Michigan men chat that you guys were going to get out of it through loopholes. That's not happening.
That was in
That's only a week ago.
What happened was illegal,
the StubHub stuff.
and it's still being illegal.
Yes.
Yes.
And
It
it's only
just
gotten
gets
worse,
worse
though.
every day when they do their
Because as soon as
annual
you start
2
digging
p.m.
at
news
something,
dump.
Everything else starts coming out.
Well, to your point though, Evan, and to Alex, the first thing that's like smoke gun, like most black and white, would be him at the Michigan State game. That is like no gray area. That is
That is just so far over the line. It's
He
insane.
was talking to
It
people.
is him,
He was
Brad.
talking to
But
people
there
on that
was-
staff, on Central Michigan staff.
there was.
Just straight up recording the other sideline with
there was-
sunglasses is the most crazy thing I've ever seen, dude.
It's wild. It's wild. He's a spy. He's
What
like,
the most
James
damning
Bond.
video was like when the players like pushed out of the sideline by him and he like tries to hide himself from the cameras. Oh my god. I can't believe it. I cannot believe the extent that this has gone. So if someone told me this a year ago, I
That
would
is the
have pissed
biggest-
my pants laughing. It's so funny. It's just so funny.
It is wild.
Like, I'm sorry it's your team
I
and like
can't wait to be
this,
the
it
point.
could all come crashing down for you. But god damn it, it is hilarious.
Dude, the crash
if
is
this was in Michigan, I would think it would
I
even
think
be
it'll-
even funnier.
But see,
I think in a weird way, it's a motivational thing for the players. I actually do think I've been worried about distractions, which is going to suck as the season goes on. But dab sneeze. But I do think it's going to help them. I feel bad for Purdue. They're going to get
Well, Purdue just
Bull
sucks.
Purdue's just bad at football too. So
right.
They're worse
But
than
they
us.
get like a bye week and a half of anger being taken out of them at night in the big house is going to be nasty.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that game. Other than that,
and I just
Evan, I also need to tell you
Actually,
something that
Bush
I keep forgetting. Might hurt your fandom of Texas. I have been told down here that Texas to a non-Texas graduate is like Texas is the University of Michigan of the South.
well,
And, like, no one
I
likes
became
them.
a Texas fan.
They're very arrogant.
I became a Texas fan
They're-
well before
Austin
any of
is
those
just like
Texas
Ann
fans.
Arbor. Like it's all the same.
Well, I'm not cheering for Texas.
They hang on to their good years back in the day, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. They're exactly the same as Michigan. Everybody has told me that.
Okay.
Because I was like, yeah, I like Texas. Like, what? You're a Michigan State person who like Texas? They're Michigan. Exact quote.
Well, in fairness, I was a Texas fan back in 2007, 2008, whenever Colt McCoy showed up and beat Ohio State. That's when my fandom started. So that was almost 20 years ago, so they can kiss my ass.
Yeah, but Evan, this has been a recurring thing. They didn't just start becoming Michigan. They've always been like this.
I get that, Alex. Alex, I get that.
I'm just saying it might hurt your opinion of that.
I'm always a Texas fan, and about once a week, every time it's like Saturdays, I try to find a Colt McCoy Texas jersey that's like authentic, and I can't find one. So, anybody has one?
Evan, you're an HEB Longhorn.
I don't know what HEB.
Austin and Ann Arbor handshake.
Oh,
It's like their Walmart.
well, yeah,
Yeah, two big liberal
Super
cities.
liberal.
because it's a college town. That's why.
Not that matters.
Well, Evan, it's not just a college town. It's actually
yeah.
just like Ann Arbor. It has a lot of like business and
Correct.
a college in the middle of it.
You take out that college, the population goes down.
Do you like Ann Arbor, Evan?
No. I bet you there's
I'm
a
just
lot
saying,
better
if you wanna
barbecue in
think-
Austin than there is in Ann Arbor. I can tell you that. So that makes that ranking.
If you want to think about a new program,
I
just feel like I had to give you that information.
so Corvallis. So I'm cheering for Corvallis.
You seem to like them.
Go Beavs. It's
Probably pretty
100% liberal.
Not that matters.
Most colleges are
My Texas
liberal.
fandom runs deep, Alex.
Yeah, I'm joking.
You don't bet
Okay,
$100 on
but-
Texas basketball and then watch it.
You're gonna have-
Okay, hook 'em.
for Miami. Okay.
Okay.
You're going to have to start taking some notes from your Walmart friends, Grant.
Alex, Matthew McConaughey is just a badass. Come on.
I do like Matthew McConaughey. Can't lie.
Matthew McConaughey
No,
is basically
Matthew McConaughey is better than Rich Eisen. Rich Eisen can't get any like actual people on his show to like talk about the facts. So
Tom
he
Brady,
brought in
Matthew
Daniel
McConaughey.
Jeremiah, and his own question was like,
Tom Brady doesn't like Michigan.
so Daniel Jeremiah was like, so
Right.
Rich Eisen asked Daniel Jeremiah, so like, what does the NFL feel about this? And Daniel Jeremiah was like, NFL doesn't really give a shit. Like, this is the NCAA's problem. That's basically what Daniel Jeremiah said.
But they'll suspend Jim, they said. That leaked on Sunday morning. If he tries to screw off the NFL,
Who will
they'll
suspend all the other college coaches that came to the NFL?
The
and
NFL.
skipped it?
They're going to suspend Jimmy.
Jim Tressel. They suspended Jim Tressel for 6 games.
Jim Tressel went to the NFL?
I never knew that.
Colts.
To the Colts.
He was a head coach?
6 games. They kept his suspension. Yes.
No.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
The fact that you just said yes and you
I've read the
didn't
article.
Dungy was there. He was in like,
Are you? You're
You guys
stupid.
are making me.
Jim Tressel
you
was
guys
not
are
a head
making
coach
me-
in the NFL. I would know that. I would
No,
know
you guys
that.
pretty sure he went to like the front office.
Oh, he was a game day.
Yes.
was
He
game
wasn't
day
even a
consultant.
coach.
But he got suspended.
You're a moron. I can't believe you just blindly said he was the head coach of the Colts.
He was Tony Dungy than
Listen.
Jim Caldwell. Jim Tressel coached Peyton Manning, Alex.
They're
He did.
going to Super Bowls with
Listen.
Peyton Manning, and Grant thought Jim Tressel was the head coach.
I forgot the timeline. They wrote that article so poorly.
I won't cry.
Just clinging on to anything you could find. I can't believe that.
they
I just
wrote the
can't
article
believe you
poorly.
said that.
They wrote.
That's an
I thought-
all-time
I
podcast
pigeonholed my
moment of
brain.
you saying Jim Tressel, coach of the Colts.
I pigeonholed in my brain. What if there was 1 year he was a coach there and it failed? But he was not. He was a consultant. They wrote. They never even said what he did. They just said he got suspended when he went to the Colts. I assumed he coached.
Well, Rich
My
Rod was
bad.
the head coach of the Patriots, so it's all the same.
But I'm.
That's how egregious a statement you just made.
Brady Hoke went
Yeah.
out to coach the Patriots.
Brady and Rich Rod, OC, DC of the Patriots.
That's not as egregious because Bill Belichick's been there for 20 years. It's different. The
They had
Colts are
Peyton
not.
Manning and Tony Dungy. Oh,
forgot the
Grant.
timeline. I thought
He's
maybe-
clinging
I
on to
thought
whatever
maybe
you read
before.
these days. The
was all his
Astros
fault.
maximum
No accountability,
penalty
not
thing
me.
from TikTok. And now Jim Tressel and the Colts.
They did. No, I'm reading. Astros max penalty.
You don't know what? Do you know what the max penalty in baseball is? Because I don't. I'm sure you don't either.
I don't know if they have a death penalty per se, but I was told they gave
By a TikTok person. You just are taking it as fact? You didn't even look it up?
It was among the most severe sanctions for in-game misconduct in baseball history. All right, that's pretty close to max.
Among? Yeah, because it was the most
sanctions.
severe thing you could do to cheat. Of course it was.
They fired both dudes immediately. If Michigan fires Jim Harbaugh and the coordinators, that's not max. That's pretty.
Just so you know, the Astros guy didn't
the
fire the coach. The Big Ten dude didn't fire their coaches. Managers.
They suspended them, probably saying you got to fire them.
Just saying, Grant, you can't take TikTok as Bible and Jim Tressel as Colts head coach as Bible. You used to be a big fact checker, and I'm starting to question what's going on with you, because if you're just taking new stuff like that and running with it, that's not going to fly, because I have always trusted you.
Hand up. Colts was bad. Astros, I still stand by it. It's a pretty massive
TikTok.
That guy was right.
Carol Hazel. Oh my God.
Worried about you, Grant.
Any Urban Meyer talk to close us out? What's up? Is it happening? Because I need to know.
Is it happening? I don't know. I don't know if it's happening. It got hot
see
today.
It every day, dude. It's
heated up today.
It's just so why? Because that one Bruno guy that's like a white dude radio
Bernie
guy
Fratto?
that looks like white trash. I'm not right.
No, not because of that. Although I think he has good sources for whatever that's worth. But
he looks like he'd run Urban.
the thing I saw this afternoon was that the contract has been put in front of the board of trustees to be signed with Urban signature on it.
Oh. Well, that's just Urban signed it. Well,
that's it's a rumor. I'm not by no means confirming. I didn't change my percentage.
But who's putting that out there if they're not confident? That's a huge thing to put. That's Chris Ballas level.
Chris Ballas also thinks that Urban Meyer is going to be Michigan State's head coach, and it's leaking out in national college coach circles. But
is this the Gen C?
Let me just finish. And then the last part of it is so this happened once with Luke Fickell. So I'll give you what happened for real on that. The contract got all done. Luke Fickell signed it. The final approval is the president, board of trustees. Board of trustees, president. Board of trustees looks. President officially signs off on a contract to make it official. President really doesn't care. They just sign it. That contract went to the board of trustees, and the board of trustees, because of the absolute, I'm going to swear here, the absolute shit show that they are, they looked at that contract and said, wait a second, who is Luke Fickell? Why are we hiring him? And our AD was like, what do you mean? And they're like, we want you to open the search up and interview 2 more candidates in the next 48 hours, and then we'll sign it. And Luke Fickell's wife's like, this is insane talk. And then in that 48 hours, he bailed. If that happens again with a person like Urban Meyer, which that should never happen, then it could easily fall through again. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to happen. But it seems like it should.
That makes me think how does the board of trustees have time
this year
when they're on my Twitter?
The hope is this year they're in such a dumpster fire of their own. They will just look at it, sign it,
blindly just sign,
because they have to worry about their own problems. That's the hope.
We should really how do we run for the board of trustees?
It's public.
Such a good job for that university.
It's voted on by the people of Michigan.
It's just one of those.
I watched the whatever that hearing was where the one chick accuses the other chick and is crying. Oh my God.
They're
it's kids. Embarrassing.
They're really kids.
They should all be fired.
Is. But the crazy thing is they think
they're not
important.
No.
Which they are.
They shouldn't have any responsibility. Tom Izzo should be running the university by himself.
So how does the president signature?
She just signs it. I guess.
Well, that's pretty advanced.
Like, we're talking like tomorrow you could find out.
Is that what people are
Like,
speculating?
tomorrow. Yesterday afternoon,
Thursday.
it was said 36 hours.
Yesterday afternoon was Tuesday.
Thursday
So
morning.
36 hours from Tuesday. That
Now, there's speculation that it could also...
might be emergency TikTok.
There's also speculation that Alan Haller wants to... Evan is going to absolutely hate this, but give respect to Harlan Barnett and not announce Urban Meyer officially until after the season ends. Which I think is a terrible idea, because if you give Urban Meyer any time to decide he doesn't want to be a part of this dumpster fire, he will leave. So don't do that.
Yeah, you got to put him.
If he's signed, you announce it
coaching,
immediately,
and
and everyone
Especially
knows.
for recruiting. When Michigan State doesn't even have a top 50
Yes.
recruiting class right now. Transfers?
Well, we have like 4
transfer
recruits.
portal?
Yeah, no, we need Urban to get busy.
Urban's such a snake for like saying he has no interest in.
This is the first job that he's
typical of his playbook,
so
like he's-
apparently Nebraska went after him last year. He publicly announced that he has no interest in the Nebraska job specifically, and he's done that in the past for other schools. He never once came out and said anything about Michigan State, which was kind of a teller. He even said today,
Well,
someone asked him today,
it happens.
there's a video. I can't like describe it very well, but if you watch it, it seems pretty clear that he's lying.
I'll be happy for you guys. I actually would love to see this for like the meltdown of Michigan fans who have written it off. I've always thought there's a chance.
I mean, I'm gonna pull
I'd be happy
receipts.
for you guys. That I ever said.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first time I ever mentioned it was a hard no from like everybody in the group chat that it would never happen. Which honestly, I can't
More
even say
so that-
comfortably that I believed it, so I didn't.
If I said in text or out loud that Urban wouldn't be interested in Michigan State,
I don't know if you said it
then
like that. You
that's
more
not-
so said Michigan
that's not
State
me.
wouldn't do
I
it.
did stand by the fact that the board might want to cover their butts.
They're so
to get in bed with someone that's
on their
has a
own
sketchy past.
disgusting nightmares of their own. This is not even going to be a blemish on their already garbage resumes.
I don't want to drag it on, but the one thought I don't know if I told you guys or I think I told I don't know who I told this thought, but my thought was I am curious to see what it would be like for Urban if Jim stays, assuming Jim stays, and Ryan Day, whatever, Ohio State, to go up against those guys at a disadvantage where he's like coming from the bottom, because Jim really had to go against Ohio State when Urban was at the peak of his powers, and Jim was having to build it from the bottom. So I'm curious who rolls first. If Urban gets him good immediately and starts beating Jim again, then holy shit,
biggest-
it's a dark day.
Well, if this ever happens, we'll have tons of time to talk about everything he's going to do. But like the biggest questions I would have is, A, is he going to just take Brian Hartline from Ryan Day? Because that's already a rumor. And Evan would love that. And then B, like, we all fell for the Mel Tucker pipe dream that we were going to recruit well. Obviously didn't happen. We were decent, but like 22 in the country. Like, is Urban Meyer really going to pull in like 1,000 5-stars and transfers, like Caleb Williams type players from the portal, and we're going to just be immediately good? Like, it's still hard for my brain to process that because it's never happened here. Nick Saban's only bad
just like, what is
record
this
in his
generation?
coaching career is at MSU.
Is like, do college kids care about the Jackson?
No, I don't
stuff?
think-
They're not even
I
gonna
don't
know
think
what
they
it
care
is,
about
and
that.
he's just
They have recruits on record quotes from them about like Michigan State's coaching search, and they're like, well, how would you feel about Urban Meyer? And they're like, I would absolutely stay on board. Like, it's like,
they actually probably just watch.
honestly, they probably don't even know
or something. I'd
in
never
today's
watched it.
age, probably don't even know about kicking kickers. But
Wow.
watch our board F it up, and then we end up with some guy
That's-
Evan absolutely hates.
Lance Leopold.
There's still a real possibility we totally screw the whole thing up. Or Urban's like, holy shit, why would I ever go there? Why did I ever think I wanted to? And he doesn't. Because if I was Urban, would I really go there?
No.
I don't know. Probably not.
But he's signed. Can you pull a contract once it's signed?
I mean, there's probably a million ways you can get out of something. If it's not public, yeah, I'm sure you can get out of it.
Cheers to episode
139.
139.
139. weird number.